that what's her name? That Ayla had sabotaged his alcoholic beverage.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Really
and
badly. Really well. Really well.
yes, and so he remembers that, and he's like, sabotaging the man's alcohol.
But he doesn't think it was me, remember?
Of course, does not. He did not see you. But he still grumbles and he fills up his flask and he says, "All right, guys, let's all get mounted up and get an early start today. Um, we should be able to get about halfway there by this evening. You guys all ready to go?"
At this point, does he know what has happened in the night that he was just sleeping?
Nope, he has not asked, nor has I think his name is Frankie. He has not said anything about it either.
Ralphie. It's Ralphie.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not going to ask what went on last night? Are you just a really good sleeper? Or you're taking some magic pills that we don't know about, some magic medicine to keep you asleep all night long? Are you having little happy dreams there
As a matter of
all night?
fact, I had some excellent dreams. Would you like to hear about them?
Please do fill us in.
Well, there was this one with this last back from home.
Okay, I
Uh,
was being facetious.
oh,
There's
I
something
thought you
crazy
actually
to
wanted to
happen.
hear.
I feel like you should be more alert,
That's
especially at night, because
but that,
things happen.
that's why I have you guys and Ralphie.
Mm. We were told to escort the payload, not to protect you. So,
I'm. That's fine. I'm still alive, and the payload appears to be okay. Isn't that
next
right,
time
Ralphie?
I'm going to draw a mustache of dung on your face next time.
I
Help
was
us
actually,
out.
I was actually gonna say, let's test how hard he sleeps tomorrow or tonight,
Yes. So be wary, or you're going to wake up with a face full of shit,
or dragged out into the middle of the woods.
with your toes in the water. You'll pee yourself all night.
And he walks up to you, Ayla, and he says, "You seem a little angry. Would you like a sip?
No,
Calm your nerves."
I just need a walk. Where's Ralphie? I'm
And
going to walk by him.
Ralphie instantly, "Yes, Ayla. What can I do for you?"
Just keep me distracted.
Oh, oh, okay. Um, how
Ralphie,
do you want me to do that?
that just means walk next to me and we'll
Oh,
talk
okay. And
like about the flowers or the trees or something. Or
he,
bugs you've seen.
he looks at you and he smiles and he
Like
says,
birds and bees.
So you like flowers?"
I mean, they smell nice.
And you can kind of see him making a mental note of this. And he says, "Well, I know a lot happened last night, guys, but I think we should probably get on the road. Are you guys ready to head off, or
Yeah.
would
Yes.
you guys want to have breakfast first? If you don't, I have some hardtack I could give y'all."
Well, we better start moving before a lunar paladin shows up again.
I'm going to walk and eat.
And he kind of reaches into his pack and he pulls out like a hunk of jerky. And he says, "Here, go, Ayla. If you didn't bring anything of your own."
Thank you, Ralphie.
And he kind of smiles and says, "Okay, well, I guess I should go get the cart moving."
Hmm. And I'll just follow behind them and I'll turn my head and glare at Falco as I'm walking. And I do the whole, like, two fingers at my eyes and then point at him.
And he
I'm
just
watching you.
he smiles at you and takes a big swig from his flask and kind of holds it up to you.
I just look away. Keep walking.
Um, all right. Are anyone else gonna do anything before you guys get started?
Nope. Ready
Negative.
to head on.
I'm gonna grab a piece of jerky.
Of course. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys can all grab your food and everything. And what's gonna be the kind of marching order? So Bilko and Ralphie take the back cart, and Ayla was driving the front cart before.
Mhm.
And then who's gonna sit up front with her?
Probably Iris.
Okay, you're gonna sit on the cart this time.
E.
Oops, wrong person. This is Iris. Okay, and then you guys could probably ride on the back of the cart, but you'd have to like sit on the boxes and stuff like that.
I can't ride on this one.
It's like the big box kind of fills the entire
Alright.
bed.
I'll ride their
Oh,
horse.
okay.
I'm just kidding. I'll go sit
I
on
was
the
gonna-
boxes.
A poor horse.
gonna say I don't think that horse would be too keen on that. Um. So, anyways, you guys
I think
all
Iris is gonna walk. Sorry.
walk next to the.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got wizard legs.
How about you, Arius? Are you gonna ride up with Ayla?
Yeah, if there's room.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's. It's like a. Consider like one of those like Oregon Trail wagons where it's got like a little bench seat where you can control the horses and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you guys all climb up onto the wagons, and you guys get going for the day. And as you guys are traveling, it's kind of like quiet for most of the day, and you guys are traveling at a pretty good pace. Are you guys gonna do anything throughout the day? If like, there's different travelers and stuff that come by, but nobody really like stops to talk to you or anything like that. So, if you guys don't have anything specific you guys want to do, you guys are gonna travel for most of the day.
Yeah, nothing for me.
Nothing for me.
It's like
Okay.
traveling day.
At some point, you guys stop for lunch, and Bilko kind of several times stops the caravan to
Stinky
go
road.
refill his flask and everything like that. And at one point, you stop, and he has everyone stop so that you guys can eat lunch, and then you guys pile back on the carts and keep going. And you guys travel into the night, and this whole time, you guys are traveling on the same road, and the same forest with the big tall redwood trees and the large canopy above your head, and you can see like the rays of sunlight kind of like piercing through the trees. Like there's like they call them god rays in video games. You can see like the
Mhm.
rays shooting through the canopy,
Mhm.
and it's starting to become dusk. And as the sun starts to set, you see as the moon begins to rise, and who has the highest pass? I
Definitely not me.
believe it's Ayla. Ayla, as the moon starts to rise, you notice that the moon is
Excuse
what's
me.
the you told me what it was called right before it's full.
A gibbous?
A gibbous moon.
So it's a
Starts
waxing gibbous because it's before a full moon.
correct, and you can tell from seeing as the moon begins to rise from the horizon that tomorrow night will be a full moon.
Oh, okay.
Um, and you guys travel as the sun sets behind the horizon and the moon starts to rise up into the sky. And right as the sun's light passes down below the horizon, um, you hear Bilko call out, "So you guys ready to stop, or you guys want to travel a little bit farther tonight?"
Might as well just stop. Are we going to be there tomorrow either way?
If we travel a little bit farther tonight, we can get there tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be about 2 more days.
Will we take a point of exhaustion if we travel more?
Nope. You guys can travel into the night. It's just so Bilko's like, I personally would like to stop here and get some shut eye, but if you guys want to travel a little farther, that's fine with me. I can just take a nap here on the bench.
Well, what do you think, Ralphie?
And he kind of like looks around and he says, I don't know, with with those paladins in the area, I think it might be best if we get there as soon as possible.
I'm with Ralphie on this.
Same.
We have the full
Yeah.
moons to travel. It'll be better if we. I'd prefer to just not stop for the night and rest during the day,
It's
honestly.
alright. You can stay behind Bilko if you don't want to.
Actually, I think there's a fork in the trail about 4 miles up ahead. That might be a good place for us to rest for the night.
Whatever.
What do you guys think?
Whatever Ralphie thinks.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. I think that's what we should do then.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys continue traveling, and as the moon starts to rise into the sky, you notice that you guys are seeing like how during the day the sun would kind of like have these rays shining through the canopy. The moon is doing something very similar, but it's more of like a silverish white light kind of shining through the canopy. And you guys travel for about another hour or so, and up ahead you start to see a fork in the road, and there's a big sign at the fork in the road with um, lettering on it and arrows pointing in each direction. But it's still a little too far away for you guys to really make out what the lettering says. But you see what appears to be a humanoid figure standing in front of the sign. What are you guys going to do?
A humanoid figure standing in front of the sign?
Yeah, it's still too far away for you guys to really make out what it looks like, but it appears to be kind of like a tall, thick, um, kind of individual.
Is it a woman?
And uh, from this distance, like you can't really tell, but it almost feels like there's a little, like a slight glow around the individual.
That's not good. Hey, I'm gonna send Valentine up ahead.
Okay.
And I'm gonna snap into Valentine, and the red eye shows up on the mask of the owl, and the owl takes off.
Okay. And is he trying to be stealthy or?
Yeah, I'll take it. So how far ahead, by the way?
Maybe, let's say 200 yards.
How
So
many?
what is that?
How much is that in feet?
Let's what, 3 feet for a yard? So 2, 3, 4, 600 feet.
600 feet, Jesus. Okay. Okay, so I'll pretty much tell Valentine to. So yeah, if it's the same like kind of thing as before, to come back. If it's not, to stay hovering in the area. So
Okay.
that way I at least have an idea. Because he's going to be out of my range to
Okay.
communicate with.
So
Stealth.
you send him off and roll a stealth check.
Okay. Stealth.
Okay.
Stealthy owl. Caden Obaratis.
Okay. So he flies out in front of the caravan for a little while. And do you guys stop or you guys keep going forward?
I think we would stop. Like if he sent out his owl, I'm in the lead, so like I
Mhm.
would pull the thing to a stop and just wait. And he's with me, so I'm listening to what he's saying. If he's going to talk while he sees through Valentine.
Okay. And are you looking? It's too far for you to look through Valentine's eyes, right?
Yeah, correct.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So we have to move forward a little.
Well, no. I told him that if it's the same thing as before, to come back. If it's not, to stay hovering in the area.
Oh, I see.
So if it's a lunar paladin, he'll return. So
Correct.
we can stay.
So you guys pull the horses to a stop, and Bilko yells up, "What's going on up there? Why are you guys stopping?"
Oh, hold on. Celeste disconnected.
Oh no.
She's gonna switch to her phone.
Welcome back.
And so you hear Bilko, "Well, why are you guys stopping? What's going on up there?"
I'll turn around like, we see a figure. We sent out the Valentine to see what it is. To make sure it's not one of those moon elves.
And he leans over and says something to Ralphie, and Ralphie like perks up and like drops the reins and jumps down and comes rushing up to the front, and he says, and he looks and he says, "Uh-oh, that's
What?
not good."
Do you see it?
The figure up there? Yeah. Did you send somebody up there to scout?
Yeah. But can you see it? Like,
Yeah.
clearly?
I mean, I see the figure up there. I don't know who it is. Just looks like a figure to me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
seems a bit strange, though. It's not usually a place where you see many people.
no. How long has Valentine been gone for? Like, would she have come back already?
So you can see as Valentine kind of flies towards the figure, and as she kind of is it a he or she?
She.
She. So as she gets within like a couple of 100 feet, you see as she like spreads her wings and immediately does like a 180-degree turn in the air and starts flying back much faster than she went. Um, back towards you, Caden.
Okay. It looks like it's like before a moon paladin, a lunar
Alright.
paladin.
So, are we gonna fight it?
Uh, Ralphie.
I I don't think we can handle one of them. From what I hear, they're very powerful.
Should we talk to it? Ignore it?
This isn't good, guys. I don't
think
know what to do.
Just send Bilko, and if he doesn't come back, then we know.
And he kind of looks at you with this like, are you serious?
I mean, seemed to have left you alone when you attacked our, the box at night.
I don't know if Vilko is the right person for this job. Um, I mean, I guess I could go up there and talk to him if you want me to. What do you
Could
think,
try and
Ayla?
set a trap.
um, if you so you think that all of us can't take on this one? There's probably more moon lunar paladins, aren't there?
They usually operate in pairs or individually. You usually don't see more than two.
What about we go forward and like we're just going on our merry way on this path and see if he or she uh engages us and be on our guard, like have our weapons ready and have our spells charged.
I mean, that could work.
What
What
else
do
are
you
we
who do
gonna
you
do?
guys
Go
think?
backwards?
I mean, he's clearly already seen us. I don't think we can hide.
Excuse me.
It's either he's gonna come to us, or we're going to him.
All right. What do you think, Arius? Do you think we should just go forward as is? Do you know,
Um,
seen them?
I have an experience with them?
Um,
She's an elf, right?
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
yes.
Are
These
these
aren't.
paladins elves?
No,
Oh my
they're
god, I'm
No.
dumb.
usually humans.
I was thinking
I
about the Dragon Prince.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, they're usually, and you're not from uh the the Dragon Reach area, are you, Arius?
I don't think so. I'm from like the woods.
Yeah, I don't think you're from up here. So no, you've heard of them. They're very well known. They are like the elite kind of like special forces unit for um the Dragon King, and one of who trying to think. Caden, no, not Caden. Iris, roll um a history check.
I think you had me roll one last time to figure out how much I knew about it. And
Yes,
it was more or less like they're secret service. They don't really cooperate with the other branches, but they're like fucking top of the line. Meta, Iris won't know this, but you compared it to freaking Soma.
correct.
Or
Yeah,
what Soma would have been if he didn't just go gallivanting off with everybody else.
correct. Yes, what Soma was in training to become before he decided to hang out with you guys. Um, so like they are badasses. So it's up to you guys. What's the plan? Ralphie just says, I'll do what you guys want. This is kind of why we brought you guys along to handle things like this.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we should set a trap.
how? They know they see us.
If they do what they did yesterday, if we just wander into the forest, tending to approach the main one, the other will come back here. And if we don't go too far, it won't be hard to trap it. Or have the advantage at least.
Hmm.
It'll separate them. And it'll take a while for that one to get to here before we could hopefully deal with the other.
Yeah.
So, I'm afraid that Ralphie's right that we can't even deal with one anyways.
Well, if they have the upper hand, then they know it. But why did they try to get in the box and then leave? They didn't even try to fight us the first time. So maybe they're not looking for a fight.
Then we
Maybe.
could trap one with an advantage for when we try and talk to it. Maybe.
Well, if we did want to talk to it, don't you think trapping it would put it already in defense? Put them already in defense?
On the defensive.
Yeah.
Bilko,
Maybe.
can we use what's in the box for our advantage in a dire situation?
And as you say that, Ralphie looks up to you and says, I don't think we want to open that box.
If I'm gonna die, I might.
I don't think Bilko will be okay with us opening the box, so if you could convince him, have at it, but he won't even let me see what's in there.
I'm more afraid of the box than those lunar paladins.
Hmm.
For the record.
Um,
Well,
does Bilko have an opinion on this?
And you guys look back and you see that Bilko's just sitting on um the bench of his wagon, just taking swigs from uh his flask and kind of like tapping his foot. Like, what's going on up there? Are we going or what?
I say, let's just make a choice. I feel like we should go with Iris's idea.
All right, fine. Arius, what do you think?
I'm with you guys since I don't know too much about them.
All right. Iris, we'll follow your lead on the trap.
Iris smiles. Thank you. And she's going to. I guess you'll lay out a plan. More or less, we're going to sneak in the forest and start making our way towards the obvious one. And we'll just split off. So, two of us. How many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of us?
Well, there's 7 total. There's the 5 of you and Bilko and Ralphie.
Bilko could just stay there. Ralphie, all of us will go up the left side of the road. 2 will immediately turn back, and the rest of us will go down a bit, cross the road, and come back around the other side.
Alright, which two are going
And
back?
then we wait. The 2 who are least stealthy.
The
Looking
two
at you,
that are
Kaden.
least stealthy. Let me see. My
Like,
stealth is a 1.
4.
I have a 3.
I'd
What is your-
say Kaden and Ayla.
Okay. What is yours, Iris?
5.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right, Kaden. Ready for this?
Alright,
And
so
if it's not
wait,
obvious, be ready for combat just in
me and
case.
Ayla are going back.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll be on the left side of the road, or right side of the road, and the rest of us will double back further
Okay.
down and be on the right side.
I'm also going to take this opportunity to cast Shield of Faith.
Oh, good call. I'm gonna cast what's that one? The health one. Fuck. Brain.
False life.
Yeah, false life. There we go.
And Kayla's casting both mage armor and false life.
So let me check some. So
Yep. Sorry, I didn't see. I'm sorry. I'm rolling. Was that
4
me?
plus 2.
No.
No,
Never
I
mind.
just rolled.
Okay, I was like, I
6.
just pressed something on accident.
So Iris, you cast Mage Armor, and Caden, you cast False Life. Okay, so as soon as you cast mage armor, Iris, and you cast false life, Caden.
Counterspell.
You see as the figure, as you're casting the spell, draws his sword and starts walking towards you.
Oh shit! Of course. The motherfuckers from the place that magic is bad. And we're over here like spell.
They are
Um,
coming after us sooner or later. Into the force.
And so you guys are gonna break into the forest.
See.
Mm.
Okay. All of you.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We aren't
every
gonna go far, like under 20, maybe 50 feet. Then back.
So all of you roll stealth checks, and as he starts walking towards you, he's walking slowly at first, but he's starting to pick up speed.
Oop.
Oh,
I pressed
And
your
note twice on
clunky
accident.
hands.
Yeah.
Either way, it wasn't great.
Yeah, it was bad either way.
let me see. Because
Dang.
Ralphie follows you, Ayla. So he starts running with you into the forest, and as he runs, he says, "Bilko, hide!" And Bilko's like, "What? Why?" And you guys scatter into the forest.
No, leave him there. So, me, Ayla, and Ralphie are together then.
Okay.
Okay.
So you, Ayla, and Ralphie are together, and then Iris, where are you going? So let's pretend
Okay.
that this is like the forest on the side of the road.
Can you move that star or no?
What is this?
I got it.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's the forest. This is forest on this side as well.
Okay.
All right. So you guys rush off into the forest. In which direction do you go? You guys go this way to the.
Trying to figure who is that again?
It depends on.
That is
Which way Michael
Arius.
Okay.
Prius and Iris should be on the left side
So
of the
that's
road.
down there.
So then me and Caden over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just do this
Okay.
as a placeholder.
So Arius would be down here, right? Over here.
Correct.
I'm
Okay.
trying to move myself, but I can't.
Oh no.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Hold on. Check something.
Bless
Excuse
you.
me. Sorry. When I eat watermelon, it makes me very burpy. I think I swallow a lot of air.
Okay. Arius. Edit. Why are you not? Serious? Select your character. You select. All right. Can you move it now?
Let me see. No.
It's so weird.
How about now?
No.
You're trying to move this one, right?
Yeah.
Why is it not letting you? I don't understand. Because it has.
It's just
Okay.
drawing like a square.
Do you have the arrow selected?
Yeah.
Hmm. Where are you?
Well, we're doing this real quick. I'm gonna go put my watermelon away.
Okay.
Go back.
Oh, that's why.
What happened?
I didn't have you. It wasn't representing a character.
Oh.
Okay,
I
now
don't know
try.
what the woodsman cloaks are for, but we have them, by the way.
It's
Got
that
it.
so that you guys look like you guys are supposed to be hanging out in the woods.
Gotcha.
Basically camouflage. All right. So you guys rush off into the woods. So what's the plan once you guys are in the woods?
Back.
I can wait for them to approach us.
Okay.
We're doing
Uh,
woods fighting.
So you notice as the character that you guys saw in the distance begins to approach. You remember how I was telling you how these motes of light are kind of like shining through the canopies? As he starts to get closer, you notice everyone roll a perception check. See if you actually do notice this.
I'm gonna use my bat since I'm just sitting in the woods, probably looking at my bat anyways.
Damn. None of us are noticing anything. Whoa! Oh wait, never mind. I thought there was another nat one.
Caden definitely does not notice anything.
Yeah. I should just make it a permanent thing that he can't see anything. Just take his eyes out.
Just instant failure for Caden and
Yeah.
checks.
I'm just blind.
Okay, so
If it's hearing or echo related, I have an advantage.
it is not. It would be actually, and I don't think your bat could actually see this. So never mind. I will have you guys make checks again later if something happens. So as he approaches closer, um, he gets within, and you guys are just hiding in the woods, correct?
Yes.
All right. So he approaches the carts and he gets within maybe 60 feet of the cart, and you hear this kind of booming voice say, the abomination's in the woods. I can see you. Come out before I force you to come out. And he's looking right at you, Caden.
I can't
Alright.
see him.
Oh wait, no, never mind. You
I
you were very good with your stealth, actually, Caden. He's
Okay.
he's sorry, I thought you were the one that rolled the 8 and the 6, but that's actually Ayla. So he actually doesn't say that. He says, I could see that that one of you is a cleric, and he looks at you and he says, you, and he points right at you, Ayla, and he says, bring forth the abominations so that they can be taken care of. I have some questions.
um, what if I don't know what this abomination you're referring to is?
And he says, of course you know of the ones that use the dark arts, the abominations that wield the power of the demons.
Ours is gonna
Um,
cast minor illusion to yell bullshit from the center wagon.
As soon as you begin casting, his head whips towards you, and he raises his hand, and you see as what appears to be a beam of light shoots down as if it's coming from the moon, and he casts. I forgot to pull up his character sheet. Typically, what is the name of that spell that?
Presuming you're gonna talk about that moonbeam one.
Moonbeam?
Yes. Is it called Moonbeam? Okay. It is absolutely called Moonbeam. All right. Good to know.
Excuse
God,
me.
that's a long range.
Wow.
Uh, my freaking computer, I forgot to change the what's that word? The resolution, and so everything is super big on my screen right now.
No.
Uh, So roll a Constitution save.
One moment. Next, I mess something up, so I refresh.
No worries. And the Constitution save is 15.
Oh.
So you take 31 points of
Holy
radiant
shit!
Whoa.
damage.
Rip.
Do we see that?
Yes, absolutely. You all see as a beam of energy shoots forth from the sky. And are you still up, Iris?
Probably fucking not. Hang on. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not up.
So you hear a scream, and you see as Iris's body is illuminated by this radiant energy, and she falls to the ground unconscious. And he says, "That let that be a lesson to you. Bring out the abominations, or I will kill all of you."
Um, I'm gonna really just look around. Okay, dominations. He's talking about like Adam's character because he does magic.
Correct. Anyone that uses arcane magic as opposed to you, who uses clerical magic.
Mm-hmm.
So he's talking about Caden and uh, Iris.
Um. Didn't I know this, right? That me as Ayla would know that
Yes,
they're hovering.
they kind of explained that this area, being a magic user, has been deemed like a it's a abomination and it's against the law, and they have been rounding up mages and and making them slaves or flat out like hanging them.
Okay. Um. To, I'm not even. I'm just trying. I'm being quiet. Like I don't know how to respond to this.
And he waits for a second and he says, "So be it." And he starts walking towards you.
I mean, nobody's committed a crime.
And he just keeps walking towards you.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Um. Hold on.
Did I see?
Yes, absolutely.
Even
All
though
of
I
you
rolled
saw
a
it.
1 on my perception.
Yeah, even
Okay.
if,
So,
that was just to see if
okay.
you. And actually, all Ayla, you noticed as he cast this moonbeam spell, you noticed that like some of these motes that are shooting through the canopy, like almost like the light bent and turned towards him and signed a sign directly on him and almost absorbed into his body. And you see, as he was casting the spell, his armor started to glow like with a silvery white light.
Okay. I think I'm going to just try to use command
Okay.
and tell him to. I'm gonna say forget, and meaning like forget that he knows. They're magic users here.
Okay. Uh, so, and it is a What's the save?
Wisdom.
Wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, and the DC is 13.
Lasts for 1 round, by the way.
Well, that would give us enough time to run away,
Yeah,
right?
we have to go save Iris from death saving
Well,
throws.
that will give us enough time.
Okay, so you use the word forget. So as he's walking towards you, you see him stop and kind of like put his head in his hands and like shake his head for a second. What are you guys going to do?
Okay, well, first we should go drag Eris onto like go get her, lift her up, and maybe like should we run?
So let's do this so that we can, because it's one round. So let me get up our initiative order
Okay.
and let me delete everyone. And everyone roll initiative. Okay. I need to put him on the actual thing. I didn't find a picture for him. And this. Okay, so Caden, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna pop out from behind the tree, and be like, why are you shooting innocent people?" And then I'm just gonna run towards her, uh, Iris.
And she is on the other side of the road.
I know, and I don't think this is to scale to what we said.
It's
too.
really not. So
Yeah.
she's maybe,
She's probably like 100.
yeah, probably like 100 feet away.
Yeah. So I move 60.
Okay. So you're about 3/4 of the way to her. Um, and he's like still kind of like shaking his head. And then Ayla, what are you going to do?
Um, where is Balco? And
Bilko,
Bilko and Ralphie.
he is still on. Bilko's still sitting on the chair, and he's like stood up, like looking at the paladin, and Ralphie's standing right next to you.
Okay. Um, I'm going to tell Ralphie. I was like, okay, we're gonna try to get Eris, and then let's tell Bilko, and we're gonna just run, protect what you can, I guess.
Understood. And he says, um, if you want, I can go get Eris. You go get on the cart so we can make a break for it.
Sure. Okay. I'm assuming. Should I get on? I guess I'll ask myself this. I'm going to call in 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going to go here, tell him what's going on real fast, and then, you know, take another step towards my cart.
Okay. This, this initiative for him.
Who are these avatars?
So the top one, this one, is Ralphie, and this one is the paladin.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to. I didn't even think about downloading pictures until literally we started playing. Otherwise, I would have done that. Um, okay, so you're gonna go tell Bilko what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and what do you say?
Um, there's lunar paladins. They took out Iris. We're just gonna try to run. They're trying to arrest Caden and Iris for
He's
being
like,
magic users.
he looks at you and he goes, "No shit, it's time to get the fuck out of here." And he like sits down and he picks up the reins, getting ready to run. Um, and you can get about 3/4 of the way to um, Eric, Iris if you dash.
Me? Well, isn't
Yes,
he going over to Caden was
yes. I
already
don't
going
know.
over?
Yes, absolutely. So you're gonna go jump on the cart.
Yeah, I'm gonna go jump on the cart and like start that up.
Okay, so you manage to get on the cart and you have the reins in your hands and like you're getting ready to get them going. And then Eris, I need you to roll a death save.
Net one. Oh.
Mark one failure.
Right.
And then you see this Caden, um and you're gonna be actually over here. But as you're running, you see as Ralphie takes 3 or 4 steps, like normal, and then you see as his body kind of elongates, and he leans down and he starts running on all fours, and he flies past you,
Nice.
and he gets to Iris, and he actually like as he gets there, um, Arius, you see as his body changes from this kind of like rat-like shape back into a human, and he scoops Iris up in his arms, and actually is able to get about halfway back to the cart.
Wow.
And Arius, what do you do?
Uh, so Caden's right next to me, right? So has he told me to like basically get out of there?
I think that was kind of like everyone's like screamed that out. I believe. I believe you guys are like,
Hmm.
get the fuck out of here.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I technically heard that since I was
Yeah,
like on the
you
other side of the
definitely
forest.
heard Bilko be like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay, for sure. Then I'm just gonna get out of there. Hop on the first cart.
Okay,
Can
so
I?
you just rush over and you jump onto the cart, and it is now your turn, Caden. You see as Ralphie goes rushing past you with um Iris in his arms.
And I'll be like, she still needs to be healed, and I'll throw him a potion.
And he catches it as he's running.
Mhm.
And let me roll something real quick.
No, I'll just have him catch it. He can't fail this. Okay.
So he almost like drops Iris, but he totally catches the potion and then gets his arm back underneath her and keeps running.
He's a rat. He could have caught it with his mouth. Or
He's in
tail.
human form now, but
Oh, whatever. Alright, so I can run
and
back then?
correct.
Okay. I'll just run to the back of the wagon.
Okay, and you manage to jump up on the wagon, and right as you kind of like scramble up onto the wagon, you see as the paladin kind of like shakes his head and like looks up and sees that you guys are running like kind of jumping onto the cart, and he says, "Stop!" and stands directly in front of the horse and draws his sword and is holding it at the ready. And it is your turn, Ayla. What do you do?
Is there anything on this cart other than like our supplies?
So the cart is completely filled with like wooden boxes of like those construction materials and stuff like that. All of your guys' supplies are on there. Um, but the cart is completely filled.
Hmm. Um, He's right in front of the horse.
Correct.
Okay, and did the wagon, the other one, turn around yet, or is it still in the process?
So, you mean the one that Bilko's controlling?
Yeah, yeah.
Bilko is like getting ready to like snap the reins to go forward. He's waiting for you to get out of the way
Oh,
or go
okay.
forward as well.
There's
What
only one paladin. Did you mean there was two, Miranda? Or
do you mean?
oh, never mind.
She meant the other cart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to, I guess, turn the horse kind of off path if I can.
Okay, so you're gonna
Uh,
try to move the horse,
yeah.
and as soon as the horse starts to move,
You
he
horse
said
killer,
he shakes his head and swings at the horse's legs.
motherfucker.
Okay. Is it still my turn, or?
It is going to when he finishes his attack of opportunity. So that is a 20. So 16 plus 8. So 24.
On the horse?
Yes.
That horse is dead.
And he's going to do. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points of damage. How much does hit points does the horse have? I should pull up a horse.
How much damage?
12.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The draft horse. They have. So- okay, so he has that, and then he's going to. Okay, so he cuts the legs out from underneath the horse, and you hear or you see a big flash of light. And I need Ayla and Iris to make Constitution saves.
Iris is down.
I meant Arius. I'm gonna get those two confused all the time. I meant Arius.
Oh shit.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Ayla, you are fine, but Arius, you are blinded, so you can't see for the next 2 rounds.
Two.
Okay.
And as the horse's legs are cut out from under it, it kind of falls down to its knees and like starts to panic and like starts bucking and kicking with its legs. And he just flips the sword over in his hands and drives the sword down into the horse's neck. So there's a dead horse on the front of the cart now.
Okay. Am I in his range?
Not yet.
Okay, then I'm going to get off the cart and go to the other one.
Okay, so you leap off the cart and run to the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and move your character over there.
Do I make it to it, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's only like maybe 20 feet behind you.
Okay.
Okay.
He killed the last horse. The other horse. That's all I'm saying.
Eris, Iris, I need you to
Not fail this.
not fail this.
You know what? I'll take this as a win.
Mark a second failed death save.
Where is he? Is he on the, or she? Is she on the wagon with me?
No, he's in. She is in Ralphie's arms.
Yeah, Ralphie has a potion though.
Yes, and
He's
it
up
is
next.
his turn. So as he's running, he uncorks the bottle with his teeth and pours the potion into your mouth, Eris. So, 2d4 plus 2. So heal for 4. Heal for 6 points of damage. So heal for 6. and it is, and he's
I
able
think
to.
he could probably keep us running.
Yeah, he manages to run and leap onto um, this wagon as well, and it's very like crowded. There's four people on top of this on this bench seat of this wagon. Um, and Arius, what are you going to do? And as this is happening, you see as the paladin is pulling the sword out of the horse's neck, just completely calm as could be, not rushing.
I don't see anything though, right?
What's that?
Technically, I don't see anything though, right?
Cause
Correct. You
she.
are blinded. You don't see anything.
So what can I do?
I mean, you can attempt to run, like, because you know where the other card is, but
Okay.
other than that, imagine your world is just a bright white light right now.
Okay, I'm gonna try and run to the back cart.
Okay. Roll a dexterity save. So start running towards the back cart, and you stub your toe on a rock, and you kind of stumble, but you're able to catch yourself, and you kind of feel your way to the cart, and you feel the horse, and you're able to kind of like follow the horse to the cart itself. And um, are you going to try? So just so you guys kind of understand what's going on. There's four people in a very small space. So if she tries to pull herself up there, then it's going to be hard for you guys to all stay on the cart.
Okay. Well then. Well, it's not my turn. Never mind.
Are you gonna try to climb up there?
I'm just gonna try and just get away because I don't want to climb up blind.
Yeah, for sure. So you kind of like feel your way to the horse, and you feel like that the bench, and you feel all those people there, and you kind of stop there, like against the wagon.
Can
Do
I
we
be
know
on
she's
this
blind?
side?
Sure.
Okay.
Do we
All
know
right.
she's blind?
Well, you could kind of tell because she's like squinting her eyes and kind of feeling around in front of her.
Okay.
Um, and Caden, what are you going to do?
Okay. Um, I'm going to use my bonus action to do Blade Song,
Okay.
so my AC increases a bit. And
Okay.
then I would like to get off the the wagon. It's definitely not going to go anywhere, and run in front of him. Like, leave us alone. What do you want with us? And I'm gonna do 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 cast as my action mirror image.
Okay.
Just trying to make myself as hard to hit as possible.
Absolutely. So 10 plus your dex monitor, 100 hex to duplicate. It is destroyed. Okay. Use your actions. Spell duration. Roll a d20 to determine the attack targets one of your duplicates. If you have a 3 duplicate, you must roll a 6 or higher. Change the attack's target to a duplicate. With 2 duplicates, you must roll an 8 or higher. With 1 duplicate, you must roll an 11 or higher. Okay, so you have to roll an 11 or higher to make him attack a duplicate, correct?
If you have three, I should have three duplicates.
So it automatically it's just all three. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as he kills them, they
Yes.
they go down.
Yep.
Okay.
So you must
Okay.
roll 6
So you cast that spell, and all of a sudden, what does it look like when you cast mirror image?
So because the music started, they kind of like come out of the sword like these wisps, and then they kind of like come out as like the beat drops. Essentially, they form like doo doo doo.
Okay.
And
are
then
they
it looks like it gets, yeah, kind of like we're dancing, because when Blade Song is going, I have my movements, and I'll kind of like phase into one of the images and phase out, so it's hard to tell which way I'm actually moving with my steps. Kind of like a kata going in different directions, with footwork.
Okay. And just so you know how we're gonna handle your pet will act on your initiative.
Okay.
So if you want to use your pet, you can on your initiative.
All right. He's an owl, so he's going to do a flyby and not provoke an attack of opportunity to do the help action.
Okay. Uh, so that means he has disadvantage on attacks against you, correct?
No, it's I would have advantage on attacks.
On
against
attacks
him.
against him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So as you kind of walk up to him and cast that spell, you just see he's wearing this helm where you can't. It's just got like the slits for his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's. I told you it's kind of like a sugar loaf helm,
Yeah.
so you can't see his face at all, and he has this big plume on his neck, but you just see as he looks down at you, and you hear like kind of like this hollow like laugh as you stand in front of him and cast the spell, and he is going to attack you. Oh, because it's one.
Alistair, don't jump on that. You're gonna break it.
He takes a swipe at you,
Fuck.
and go ahead and roll to see if it hits you.
No.
All right. So he swipes at you, and you kind of like move out of the way, and he flashes through one of your illusions, and it kind of dissipates into dust.
Yeah.
And he swings at you again.
Oh shit. Fuck. Yeah. Okay. D20. Okay, I'm good. I'm down to one illusion.
Where did my chat? Oh, god dang it! You know how when you like accidentally drag the chat window off and then it
Oh
disappears?
yeah, I hate that. I always have to refresh page.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Boom, 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 boom. Thank God for that fucking spell. I
Yeah,
don't want to know how bad that's gonna hurt. That +9 great sword. Fuck you. Ooh, can we level up?
you guys are definitely gonna level up at the end of this kind of like situation, but not yet.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm gonna be super nice to you guys. So at level 4, I'm giving all of you guys
Giving
in
us
addition a feat in addition to
Ooh.
whatever your thing is. Come on.
what? I've got 2 feet.
Okay. So he swings at the first one and like slashes through one of your illusions. Then he swings at the second one and slashes through another one of your illusions, and it kind of dissipates into the air. And as this is happening, Ayla, what do you do as this guy is kind of swinging at Caden?
I'm going to cast Bane on him.
Fuck yeah!
Okay.
Um,
And get those
and
horses
that
moving.
is
That's
a
why I'm
charisma
there.
saving throw. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
I am not a tank.
And you said it's a wisdom save?
Yeah. No, charisma.
Charisma save.
Yeah.
Every spell I have is for my survivability.
Oh, come on. Thing.
defensive.
Really? Oh, come on. My one keeps getting stuck. So I'm trying to type something and my one gets
Oh, your
stuck and
butt.
types like a million ones.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And then what is the DC?
13.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've been lucky with those.
I know.
Okay. And so the three creatures you can see within range must make charisma saving throws whenever target fails a saving throw. Attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends. Let's roll a d4 to subtract that number from the attack roll. Okay, so what does it look like when you cast Bane?
I just I don't know. Okay, I just sneer at him, and I look like I'm going to like I'm pretending I'm biting off his head, putting my hand up to like pretending I'm holding a little miniature of him,
Uh-huh.
and I just bite it,
Okay,
and
and
then
like as you do that, there's like a spark of light, and like he kind of like stumbles and kind of like shakes his head. He kind of feels like he's moving in mud right now. And what else are you gonna do?
I am going to look down at Arius and notice that she's struggling, and I will switch places with her. I guess
Uh-huh.
like help her up, and I'll go down. Well, I'll go down to help her up.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, that's about it.
Open the
Who
box.
is no. Actually, wait a second, because now Iris is here with us, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Iris is up, correct? With
Correct.
shield.
Yes.
Yep.
Iris is in Ralphie's arms, and he's
Okay.
kind of standing on the like
I already
platform.
gave him one. Okay, never mind. I thought I forgot she was down temporarily. So no, I'm going to do with that. I'm going to help Arius up onto
Okay.
the wagon.
Arius and Ayla, make dexterity saves. So as you're kind of like trying to help her up there, there's like no room for you guys to get um onto
Well,
the
I was just
platform.
there though. Like I left.
Oh,
So
so you jump down.
yeah.
Okay, then yeah, you guys jump. You push her up into the onto the cart, and uh, Arius, you are now standing on the cart itself. And what else are you gonna do?
That's all I'm going to do.
Okay. Uh, Eris, you are now conscious and you are in Ralphie's arms. What are you going to do?
Okay, big.
Can you be
And
Cheetos?
take a look at Ralphie and just keep running. And I guess you'll have the bat come over. Rackles is going to fly next to her, and she's going to tell him to go up, Caden. And Bat's just going to take off and help screw with Knight Lunar Paladin.
Okay. So you're gonna help as well to give it advantage
It's not
on
like
his
you get
attacks.
double advantage, but who knows? Maybe we'll get pissed at the bat.
For sure.
Bat's gonna like straight up just land on the dude's visor.
Um.
He's gonna grapple the visor.
So are you trying to get out of Ralphie's arms, or are you just letting him hold on to you?
Nah, I'm not letting Ralphie carry me. He
Okay.
moves faster than I do.
And Ralphie kind of looks at everyone and says, "We have got to go." And he like looks down at the reins and he says, "Bilko, let's go." And Bilko kind of grabs the reins and just wrenches the horse around, and it starts to try to turn the the cart around, kind of like slowly, but it's like it's not going very fast because it's kind of like sliding along the dirt as the horse tries to pull it around in a circle. Um, and Arius, you are still blind, but you are now up into the cart seat. What are you going to try to do?
Can't do magic or anything, so I'm just gonna like hang out until I can see again.
Okay. Caden, you are standing in front of this moon paladin, and you notice too as he's swinging. Uh, Again, it seems like the moonlight is being channeled into him.
Okay. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to. Shit, that's not gonna help.
What if
I
we
mean,
go deep
it
into the
will,
cannon?
but it's not at the same time. Here, I have an idea. It's a little different. Um, so I can. I'll tell. I'm gonna do it, and then we'll see if it works.
Okay.
So I'm gonna. My my double that's there is gonna fake jab at him so he like dodges or whatever just for flavor, and then I'm gonna
Mhm.
point my rapier into the sky, and fireworks are just gonna shoot off towards the moon. And I'm
Okay.
gonna cast pyrotechnics, and what happens when you cast pyrotechnics is it creates a cloud of smoke, of black smoke, and my idea is to try to block some of that moonlight.
Okay.
So I'm not casting around us to obscure our area, but up into the sky.
Yeah, I get what you're. Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't know what
Okay.
if that'll do it, but
Yeah. Okay. So all you guys hear is this, like, woo, and like you see as smoke starts to form, and there's the whole kind of forest is illuminated in this kind of silvery white light, and it does dim slightly, um, but it definitely doesn't completely block out the moon.
Mhm.
And are you gonna do anything else?
yeah, and it lasts for. Oops, hold on. Um, Duration. It's not telling me. Oh, so radius smoke is heavily obscured. Smoke persists for 1 minute.
Okay. So
Okay.
10 turns. Are you gonna try to move or anything, or stay there?
If I move, he's gonna swing at me.
Absolutely.
And I used an action. I still have a bonus action. Let me see something real quick. That is. Where does it say if it's a. Oh, okay, so it's a reaction. Okay. Yeah, so actually, I will. I'm just gonna be like, let's get moving. And then I'm actually gonna run out of his range and take the attack of opportunity against me. And I'm
Okay.
just gonna try to run my full 30 feet in that direction. Well, 10 more. But yeah, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to run up the road, and hopefully our teammates are going that way too.
So 17.
Would hit. I have to roll my d20.
D4.
Oh yeah, d20.
Mm.
And
No, but he also. Okay, now.
I
Sorry.
have to
And
roll more than 11. So he succeeds.
okay.
So he hits the
Hmm.
But he has to roll a d4 to see how much it
Yeah.
takes
Oh, that's
away.
true. What is the AC for your
16 right now because of song.
Okay. So actually,
So
he
he-
misses the
Oh yeah.
But is that is the same AC for your mirror things?
Actually, that's a good point. Um, I don't know if it. I think it's just I roll to see if you hit my thing.
Hold on.
I
If you
gain
turn the time to do
AC.
with one, you must roll an element. A duplicate's AC equals 10 plus your dexterity modifier if an attack hits a duplicate. So it's 10 plus your dexterity
So
modifier.
12.
Okay,
So
so
it
it
would still
does.
hit my duplicate.
Correct. So you are duplicate free though.
Okay. Cool. But they were very fucking useful. Um,
Okay, and where do you run? Where?
hopefully in the direction my friends are gonna run in.
So this way.
Yeah.
Okay. And he kind of watches as you go. He slashes across the um what's it called, the mirror image, and it fades into like a shimmery uh like dust, and he turns as you run away, and he walks up to you,
That's not allowed.
and he reaches out and he attacks you with his great sword.
Ow.
I'm going to flavor this if he does hit you, though. So
Ha!
that's the first one. I believe he
I
misses.
I dance out of the way.
Okay. And then what's the second one?
And I dance again.
Nice.
This beat is sick.
And you can see as he like slashes at you twice, you can see him start to get frustrated. And you, like, damn you, you abomination! And it is Ayla. It is your turn.
Okay. Um, I think I'm going to see that Caden is running, right? Like I could. Do I need to do real perception on that, or like?
Nope, you can see he's running.
Okay. So I'm going to see that he's running, and I am going to do that as well. But before I do that, I want to cast mirror image. So when I'm running, like they will run with me, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
they stay with you.
Yeah. So I'll cast mirror image. So when I'm running, like maybe he won't, he'll pick the wrong one. And then I will head, I'm gonna tell them and be like, I'm taking off that way. And I'm like, if you can grab whatever is important out of this cart, you should do so and run. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, how big is that box, by the way?
The box is
Yeah.
8 feet tall
Okay.
and about 10 feet long and about 8 feet wide.
Okay, so then I will rephrase that and I'll say I'm going to take off this way. Hopefully, still steer the horse. Oh, as well as you can. I'm going to try to distract him, but before he kills these horses too. I'm not
And
like I'm hoping that me running will be distracting to it.
yeah, and Bilko's like he's finally starting to get the cart kind of like turned around. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like sideways in the road now.
Okay. Wait, turning around. I thought
Oh
we
yeah,
were going straight.
he's trying to turn it around and go the opposite direction. That's kind of what I was saying when he was turning the horse and the wheels
Mhm.
were kind of sliding on in the dirt. He's trying to turn the cart
Oh,
around.
I did not understand that.
Yeah, me neither. Because I know you like before when I was like in the cart, you're like, oh, he's just sitting there waiting for you to move
He
forward, and then he can
was,
move forward.
but now that that cart in front of him is stuck, he can't go forward. You know what? Since you guys didn't understand, he's trying to go around the cart
Okay.
because you guys would have done things differently, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't really matter. He's just trying to get the fuck out of there.
So yeah, so I'll run as fast as I can because you said these isn't to scale. I don't know where exactly I get to.
You can probably get like 20 feet behind him,
Behind Caden.
behind the paladin.
Okay, so I'll do like right. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here.
Okay. And then, Eris, what are you going to do? You are still in Ralphie's arms.
You could tell me if this will work or not, but Iris is gonna pull up a very short piece of rope, maybe like a foot tall,
Mhm.
and she's gonna yell towards Crackles the bat to land by his feet, Crackles. And you can tell me if this would actually work or not. She wants to cast Rope Trick by the dude's feet and hopefully trap him in an extra dimensional space with a foot like underneath
Okay.
like a
That
crawling
sounds
space
great.
of a foot.
Can you cast through your familiar?
Yes. Now, it should be towards the end of the thing, as long as the spell is within touch range.
Let's use its reaction to deliver the spell. When you cast it, the spell requires an attack roll. You use your attack modifier for the.
Did it say attack or just touch? I thought it was.
Hold on, I was reading the very bottom. This is a really long spell.
Yeah.
You touch a length of rope that is up to 60 feet long. One end of the rope then rises into the air until the whole rope hangs perpendicular to the ground at the upper end of the rope. So this would be like if you have a rope, you
Which
would
I'm pretty
touch.
sure everyone would have rope.
Oh, of course, but it would rise up from wherever you are. So like, you'd have to like give the thing a rope, have it run it over there, and then cast the spell.
I was playing.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. In which case, Crackle's gonna go and grab a friggin' rope and start flying back.
Okay.
I think it goes like 120 dashing, which I don't imagine it needs to do anything other than dash right now.
Yeah, he could probably get there with a dash.
He'll do he does 30 feet, so 60 total.
Okay.
And he'll just fly right towards the ground, and I'll cast that.
Okay. So basically, you're casting a spell underneath him to try to get him to fall into like an interdimensional space.
I'm not entirely sure how this would work. I imagine it'll be like kind of if this sounds ridiculous, but like if he was suddenly inside a mine box where he's just standing there, but only like the top bottom foot of it is not actually there.
There's nothing in there.
So I don't think he'd go down or up. He'd just be inside a box, essentially.
There's nothing.
Can be into the basement. Disappear. Can't. All right. I'm trying to think, because this is a cool idea you have. I'm just
But
not.
it's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, because the thing is the way it works is you touch the rope, it rises up. Once it gets to the top, it forms an extra dimensional space that like the rope is hanging out of. So if you climb up to the top of the rope, you can go into the extra dimensional space. This is kind of like a hiding type of a thing. But I don't see how it would make him fall into that extra dimensional space. If you can give me a really good reason why it would work, I'll let you do it, but I would, as the DM, I don't see how it would work the way you want it to.
Gotcha.
Like I like the thinking outside the box. It's just I don't think that spell would do what you want it to do.
This is my last argument for it, and if that doesn't work for you, that's fine.
Okay.
I think Iris would just skip her turn again, and actually, she'll probably just run into the forest and start trying to keep track of the cart from a distance. But the only way I could imagine this working was if the space he's in becomes the box around it, and pretty much the space he's in becomes the extra dimensional space. So he's not strictly stuck into it. He's just already standing where it decides to be.
Okay. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to give him a dexterity save with advantage, and I'm going to make the DC I'm gonna make the DC 10. So if he fails the dexterity save, I will let what you're trying to do happen.
Not
Does that sound fair to you?
more than fair. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So ignore that. That was not his dexterity save.
Oh.
I
Negative
actually
4 or something.
there. Okay, so
Oh,
he goes up there, casts this spell, and the rope kind of forms a space around him, and he kind of falls into it. As the rope kind of like grows up from the ground, he kind of enters into the space, which slows him down. Basically, what's going to happen is as the rope kind of pulls up to the top, he kind of travels with it, and then he begins to fall out of the extra dimensional space. So basically, you have bought Caden some time to move without getting an attack of opportunity.
Right.
All
That
right.
is fantastic. I'm happy with that.
Okay. So Ralphie kind of like sets you down on the on the cart, and he's just kind of standing there. Arius, you can now see. What are you going to do?
I was gonna shoot an arrow at the paladin, but because it's in an interdimensional.
He almost immediately falls out. You can totally shoot a.
Oh, okay. But he's just stunned, right?
Yeah, so he's like right now. You can kind of see him falling from this extra dimensional space that he was lifted up into.
Okay. How close do I have to be to shoot a crossbow?
Um, is it a hand crossbow or a regular crossbow?
It's a light crossbow.
I believe. Let me find your character sheet because I believe it's 60 feet. If you look at the when you click on the light crossbow, the little gears, so it's 80 feet. So you could. It's totally within range.
Okay. Do I just click that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Actually, it's not doing it. No. How do I attack with it again?
So
Oh, I see
up at
it.
the
I
top
see
of
it.
the where you have the attacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So you fire your crossbow, and he's kind of falling from the sky. So you fire where he was, but he falls out of its range, and it kind of whizzes over the top of his head. All right. You gonna
I'm
do
also
anything
gonna
else?
go to the bathroom, like in real life. So
I was gonna
if
say,
don't
Just
so-
I wet my pants.
So Arius just frickin' starts peeing next to the cart.
Master of confusion.
All right, Caden, what are you gonna do? By the way, this has gone so much worse for him than he was expecting.
Yeah. I'm. Yeah, he hasn't taken any damage.
No.
It's just like this fumbleness and not hitting anything. So I imagine it's super frustrating. Man, I feel like I should just take off because I'm a wizard now without my second level spells.
Of course.
So I think, yeah, because I can't do a whole lot to protect anyone. Honestly, I did what I could to stall him. So I'm just I'm gonna sprint.
Get yourself in stealth and hide.
Well, I'm gonna do my fuck yeah, because even if I do my dash action, he might catch up. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna sprint and then dash. So I'm gonna go 60 feet away. No,
Okay.
actually, I'm gonna go 80 feet away because I have Blade Song on, and my speed increases to 40.
Okay. So you run 80 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And as you run, you hear this loud clanging bang as the nightfall or the paladin falls out of the space and lands on its feet. And you hear this growl of frustration as you run out of his range. And he kind of watches you go for a second and turns around, and
Good game, guys.
he walks to here, and he says, he kind of lifts his hands up and he says, "Enough!" And he slams his hands down to the ground, and the ground kind of rumbles for a second, and this wave of earth starts to expand away from him in a 40-foot radius. So, trying to draw a space here. 40 feet. And I need you guys are actually up on the cart.
See.
Iris, you're on the cart, correct?
Yes.
So I'm gonna let you roll a d20 plus 1 for the dexterity save for the horse.
Right. D20 plus 1.
So as
Not
this
that
kind of
great.
wave of earth kind of expands away from them, the horse like takes a step, and the wave kind of like rushes over his legs, and you hear a loud snap as the horse's leg breaks, and he falls to the ground. And roll a dexterity save to see if you and what is and Ralphie fall off of the cart.
Just my normal dexterity.
Yeah, it's a dexterity save. Actually, I have Ralphie. I can roll a dexterity save for him. I forgot that I made his character sheet. So Iris is a 15. He rolls a 20. So you guys are able to stay on the cart, but you feel as the cart kind of like shakes, and the horse kind of like screams and falls to its side, kind of kicking, as its leg kind of like snaps, and you can see the bone kind of hanging out of its leg. And Ayla, what are you going to do? You see as the horse kind of like screams and falls to the ground.
Okay. I'm going to use a. You know what? Because this one is him, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to cast Magnify Gravity. Or actually, hold on. Let me see. Is it going to be Guiding Bolt or Magnify Gravity? You know what? Alright, I'm gonna do Guiding Bolt. Because also this is the next attack roll made against him is going to have advantage.
Okay. So your what does it look like when you cast Guiding Bolt?
This one is where where it kind of seems like I reach through to the sky and grab a bolt and throw it.
As you do that, the ray of energy kind of like flashes down to him, but as it hits his armor, you see like small little flashes along the armor, and it seems to absorb into his armor.
Shit. And then I'm gonna say, over here, and start running.
Okay. And where are you running towards?
Wherever Caden went.
Okay. And Eris, what are you going to do?
I'm back.
Okay. Yeah,
Iris or Iris?
I need you to roll a dexterity save, Eris.
Iris?
No, actually, Eris this time.
Arius?
Yes, Arius.
For
So
the falling off the cart.
correct. As this like wave of earth kind of like expands out in a circle, you feel as like the ground kind of rumbles underneath you, and you fall prone, Arius.
Okay.
And you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as rocks pelt you as they fly up in the air as the ground kind of expands around them. Now, Eris, what do you do?
Iris is going to drop off the back of the cart to break sight with the paladin.
Okay.
And she's... Go ahead.
I need you to roll a perception check as you get to the back of the cart.
The box opens up. I'm just kidding.
So, Iris, as you come around the back of the cart, you see leaning against a tree, kind of in this area here, another armor-clad paladin just kind of leaning against the tree with his kind of like legs crossed and his back up against the tree and his arms crossed in front of you, in front of him, kind of watching the whole situation.
Fantastic. And how's the bottom of the cart look like? Is it still standing?
So the wheels are kind of like dented and kind of cracked and kind of oblong. So it will still roll, just not very well.
So the other paladin's like right there, more or less.
Maybe like over here. And you see as you
And
come
this
around the
is
back,
the
he look
other paladin, right?
correct.
Is this how far is it to get into the forest?
Oh, it's maybe like 10 feet.
Iris is going to book it into the forest this direction. As soon as she breaks the line of sight with both of them, if she could manage it, she's going to cast. Not that that helped last time. Um, she is going to cast Misty Step to get further away.
Okay. So you cast Misty Step and you can move another 30 feet, right?
Yeah, she's just trying to get off the map.
Okay. Ralphie sees all of this happening, and he kind of like looks around, and he looks down at Bilko, and he looks up at the paladin, and he just kind of like sits down, and like puts his hands in his lap. And basically, he's giving up. And Arius, you are prone, but what are you going to do?
So what exactly does prone mean in this
Just means you have to
situation?
use half your movement to stand up.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna stand back up, and then I'm going to use my crossbow again. Or wait, can I do Mind Sliver? What is that?
I believe that's a spell, correct?
It says it's psychic.
Okay.
Oh
So
yeah,
basic,
it's a spell.
yeah. So basically, what you do. It's not really arcana though. It's like a psychic spell. So
Mhm.
it's an attack spell, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just go ahead and click on the spell itself, and you're going to do it at the paladin, correct?
Yeah.
Uh, that cannot be.
Yeah, so what she has to do is go into her on her spells, and where
Mhm.
it'll say, hold on, let me go on your spell sheet or core bio spells. On the top
Mhm.
left, it says, or not top left, kind of like in the middle top, it says spellcasting ability, and you click intelligence. There, you should be
Yeah.
able to click that space above that, and it should drop down a list.
There you go. So it's a DC 11. Perfect. All right. So
Hi, Gwen. You're not supposed to be in here, but you're so cute.
okay. So it hits and succeed on an intelligence saving throw. Take 1d6 psychic damage. So roll damage for it. So you should just be able to click on. Um, it does 5 psychic damage. So what does it look like when you cast Mind Sliver?
Uh, my eyes roll back in like the back of my head, and I like just put my fingers up to my temples, and I go silent as I like kind of have like my body facing the paladin, but obviously I'm not like looking directly at it because my eyes are in the back of my head. And then when can I talk about like how the paladin reacts too?
Uh huh. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So he um like falls to the ground on his knees and like kind of like he had like an electric shock to his brain. And he like lets out a yell.
Okay. So I think he like as you cast the spell, he kind of like drops to a knee, and you hear him kind of like grunt in pain, and then kind of
Mhm.
like shake his head, and he stands up, and he like whips his face towards you, and you hear like this growl of anger come from him.
Is that the first
Um,
damage he's taken or no?
Yes. What else are you going to do, Arius?
Can I run into the forest?
Absolutely.
Take that! Run!
How far can I go now since I had to have to stand up?
I believe
15.
15 feet.
Unless you have more than
I-
30.
Yeah, whatever your movement is, you can move half of it. Your movement speed is at the top. You can move 30, so you can move 15 feet. Okay, and you kind of like rush into this forest. And Caden, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna look back and I'll see Ayla and I'll be like, And can I sort of see if people are getting away? At least my.
Oh yeah, as you look back, you don't see anyone except for you see Ralphie sitting on the cart with Bilko,
Mhm.
and nobody else except for Ayla close to you.
I'm gonna look at Ayla and be like, let's cut into the forest, and then I'm gonna turn this way essentially, and I'm gonna use my movement plus some to go in.
Okay. So you rush off into the forest.
Mhm.
And as you do that, you see as the paladin kind of like stands up and looks around and like shakes his head, and he walks over to the cart, and he reaches up into the cart, and he looks up at Ralphie, and Ralphie just kind of like hangs his head, and he reaches up and grabs Ralphie by the shirt, pulls him down from the cart, and lifts his sword up and smashes him over the head with his the hilt of his sword. And you see Ralphie go limp, and he kind of tosses him to the side. And you see as he reaches up and grabs Bilko as well, and does the same thing and smashes him in the head with the pommel of his sword,
Good.
and tosses him to the ground as well.
Yeah, he
To
deserved
knock him,
it.
knock him out.
Yes.
Well, he likes sleeping anyway.
And then he walks towards the back of the cart. And Ayla, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna look back as well, and I can notice that they're on the ground, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
that the moon paladin be like, we need to protect the cargo. Ralphie's down. To Adam, to Caden. Are you gonna respond?
Okay, I'm like further in. I'm like, I'd like to live, and it looks like everyone else seems to have gotten away.
What are you gonna do, Ayla? It appears that everyone is running for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me check my spells. I have no more level 1s. I do have level 2s, but that's not going to really help me. Fuck. Well, I guess I will like hesitate, like I was going to go back towards them, and help them. Like I'll even take like 10 feet, run 10 feet, but then I will just look over at them and just scream like ah, and then turn back around and run back with Kaden.
Okay. So as you kind of run off into the forest, you notice that none of them are following you.
None
And
of who are following me.
the paladins are not following you. They're
We
letting you
failed our
guys
mission.
run away. And as you
But they
hear,
won.
as you kind of run off into the woods, you hear another kind of like hollow voice coming from inside a helmet, and he says, "Very impressive, Argos. You didn't capture a single one of them. Very impressive."
Damn.
And you see him walk up to the back of the um to the cart. Are you guys going to just run away, or are you guys going to come back and try to see what's going on? Like, what are you doing right now? Are you all just running off into the forest?
And Crackles is probably just watching from the line, seeing if they follow, or just watching what they do. Iris's run gets like 100 feet
Okay.
minimum. Take a look at what see through the eyes of the bat, then probably move another 100 feet and repeat.
Okay. So what about everyone else? Arius, are you just running out into the forest, or are you going to stop as well? Because they're not going to follow you. So if you want to just run off into the forest, you can get as far away as you want.
How tough is the paladin? Is
Really,
it
really tough.
okay? Then I'm just gonna run away.
Okay. What about you, Caden and Ayla? Are you guys just running off into the forest, or are you guys gonna come back?
Ayla, I think we should keep running. Once we get far enough and find a place to hide, and I'll use Valentine, and I'm sure Iris is going to use her, companion, and between the two of us, we could probably regroup.
Okay. And I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just going to like nod my head and just run.
Okay, so you guys run off into the forest. Never
to be
And
seen again.
you don't hear anything. You guys are off into the forest for a while, and you get far enough away where you can't hear anything. How long do you guys spend in the forest? Arius, you were all by yourself. Caden and Ayla, you guys are together, and Iris, you were all by yourself as well, out in the woods. But did you say you leave your familiar
That-
close enough to see what's going on?
Yeah, for a bit. Eventually, it's gonna take a meander, like a go down the road and sweep back towards me in a weird ass path. Eventually,
So, are you looking through the bat's eyes, or are you just out letting him come to you?
probably looking through the bat's eyes infrequently.
Okay, so as you're watching through the bat's eyes, you see as the two paladins kind of come together, and they kind of stop and look at the cart for a little while, and one of them, you can tell that they're talking to each other, and then one of them reaches up and smashes his fist through the wood of the cart like 4 or 5 times until he breaks a hole through it, and then he pulls the side of the cart off, side of the wooden cart off the side,
They both died.
and as the wood kind of falls away, you see a small humanoid figure sitting on a bench inside of the cart. And right as that happens, your vision kind of goes out as you get too far away from the bat.
Shit.
So what are you guys gonna do? If you basically you guys are out in the woods, and you're just out in the woods. You don't hear anything. Nobody's chasing you. You're all fine. How long are you guys gonna spend out in the woods before you come back?
I'd probably try to stay without even searching till morning in hiding. And then I would send out Valentine to check out the scene where we were at. And then I would start looking for the rest using Valentine.
Okay, so you guys are
If I'm
gonna.
not found first.
What about you, Arius? How long are you staying away? And are you just running away still?
Yeah, can I see anything? Because I know I have night vision.
Yes, you can see in the woods, and the moon is incredibly bright. So
Okay.
you guys can see in the woods. I need everyone who's running around in the woods to make survival checks.
Okay.
So that's all of us.
Yes.
So we're making
Okay.
camping, though? So, average.
Makes sense.
I'm with
So
Ayla.
Iris, after a few minutes of running, you kind of start to look around yourself, and you realize that you are hopelessly lost. You have no idea which direction the cart is in. You have no idea what direction you were running. You're just hopelessly lost. Iris, same thing. You've run into the woods for so far that you have no idea what direction you've been running. You feel like you could have been going in circles. You don't know what direction the cart is in. And you too, Caden, you're completely lost. But Ayla, you kind of know where you are. Like if somebody asked you, "Hey, how do you get back to the cart?" You could point in a direction, and you would know that the cart is in that direction.
Okay.
Um, and so a couple, and you guys are gonna spend until morning, correct? Or is that for everyone? To everyone, tell me how long you're standing out in the woods.
Morning.
Morning. Iris will probably spend the night, then go down the road backtracking, and I don't know what's the last freaking land feature we saw.
Okay.
She'll probably have crackles float around
Okay.
during the night,
Is
see
she
if we
gonna
can't find anything.
is she gonna go back to the cart or try to find the cart? Or
Nope.
you? Nope. Okay.
Like go down the road from the cart, not approach the cart. She might have crackles go in the morning though. That's
Okay.
like the best she's gonna do.
So, uh, while you guys have been in the forest for maybe like an hour or so, all of you hear this incredibly loud, echoing, roaring sound. Uh, kind of like cut the silence of the night. Just this loud, bestial roar coming from the direction that you guys might think that the cart is in. And you see like this like you know how the moon is kind of like shining through the trees. You see as it all appears to like converge in one direction, uh and there's like a bright kind of like flash, and then it almost feels like the entire forest dims.
Kaden, I think they stole the moonlight.
And at this point,
I'm on mute.
what were you saying?
No, I was just like, oh, well, I don't know what. I don't know if we can do anything about it.
We
So
obviously cannot.
It's the Goblin Cave all over again.
so UA, we're going to talk to you for a second. Are you there?
Celeste, you're on mute. She died.
She fell asleep.
No,
She just unmuted herself, but still
Oh.
can't hear you.
Danger, danger.
There you are.
Okay, sorry. So I had switched to my computer because I was getting a headache. I took
Oh.
medicine though. Just a second. I have to switch it back to my headphones. Sorry.
No
It's okay.
worries.
Should we put Alistair to bed?
Yeah, I meant to put him in bed like 10 minutes ago. Actually, is it possible to take a break?
Absolutely, this is
Okay.
a perfect time to take a break.
Okay.
But do you need a break, UA, or can I tell you a couple things?
She's probably still switching.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sorry.
Do you need a break right now? Because I'm gonna let them take a break, but I could also talk to you.
I
If you
just
don't.
went to the bathroom, but I can come right back.
Yeah, go ahead and use the restroom, and I'll do the
Okay.
same thing, and then I'm going to bring you into it. Even though
Yay!
I had a plan for them to come, but they just ran like bitches. So
Okay, I'll be right back.
okay.
Okay. I'm back.
Okay. So, your character had been working for the Silver Cannons, which is this group of kind of pirates, and they are currently fighting a war against the Dragon King, who is the one that kind of like has turned all of the mages into outcasts and like rounds them up and makes them slaves and stuff like that.
Fighting war with who?
The Dragon King. They're called. It's called Dragon Reach, and his followers are called the Dragonkin.
Okay.
And your kind of like your commanding officer is Dragonborn by the name of Thule. And there was recently a village that the Silver Cannons used to use as like a logging kind of village in order to get like supplies to build like catapults and things like that. And they had gone silent. And so she sent you with a group of 4 other adventurers to go investigate this village. And you guys had found the village, but you guys arrived very late at night. And so you guys had decided to set up camp at the entrance to the village. And all of you have, and let me show you the map so you know where you are. You're gonna get to see the cool little map that I made.
So I was writing notes while you were talking. So the logging village, why did they send me there?
Because they had gone silent. They
What was the purpose of the logging village? Like,
Yeah.
is it just
they produce like lumber and stuff to produce the catapults and trebuchets and
got it? Okay.
stuff like that they're using to fight the war. So the Dragon King has gone insane. He used to be the super nice guy, but he's kind of gone insane and he hates mages now. And he's building a giant wall around the entirety of his kingdom, which is like hundreds, if not thousands of miles. It's kind of like the Great Wall. He's building it around his entire area to keep outsiders out. And the Silver Cannons are building all these trebuchets and stuff to attack the wall. And this village has gone silent. And you guys traveled there. When you arrived late at night. And let me put you map. Okay, so this is a map you are on. Let me put you on the thing. So you and 4 other companions have set up camp around this kind of it's a fountain, but the edges of the fountain have been kind of like broken down and the rock is kind of crumbling, and the city appears to have been burned. When you got here, there was still fires kind of smoldering on the buildings, but it's completely silent, other than like the like snapping and popping of the fire as it kind of like burns out, and the harsh smell of smoke. There's no people here that you guys can see. You have found like several groups of bodies in the area, but you guys decided before you guys went into the city proper and started kind of investigating that you were going to wait till morning. And you've all kind of like set up your camp around this fountain. And just as you're getting ready to drift off to sleep, you hear this incredibly loud echoing roar that you can hear, sounds like you could hear from miles around. And you see as like the birds go flying from the trees as this roar echoes into the night. And shortly after, you see as like the moon appears to converge into a spot in the distance through the forest. And shortly afterwards, it almost feels like the light of the moon kind of like dims. And all of you kind of like wake up and you're looking around for a little while. And maybe after like 10, 15 minutes, you hear this sound in the forest coming towards you. It sounds like something running quickly through the forest. And as you watch, this 7-foot, 8-foot tall creature steps out into the clearing, kind of like here, and you see it stands about 8 foot tall. It has long, almost 2 long arms, and at the end of its arms, it has these long, spindly hands with long fingers and long claws at the end of each of one of its long fingers. And it has it's kind of like got a gray fur, and its mouth or its head is almost in like the shape of a wolf with a long snout and these long teeth. And as it kind of like steps into the moonlight and you see it, it kind of notices you, and it lets out this loud roar, and almost faster than you can see, it takes 2 lunges and leaps in the air and pounces on one of your traveling companions, and it sinks its teeth into your companion's throat, and it shakes its head, and it pulls its head up as this gore just drips from its mouth. And it has these huge like pectoral muscles and like almost like a 6-pack, and it looks at you, and it reaches down and it picks up the body of the adventure that it had just slain, and it kind of looks at it and looks at you and tosses it to the side and leaps towards you and your 3 companions. What do you do?
I don't know. I will try to. Where's my character sheet? I don't know if I want to fight it or try to run. um,
No pressure.
can I try? Can I try to run? As I don't think I could kill this dude.
Absolutely. As you turn and bolt towards one of the houses, the huge, gigantic kind of wolf-like creature descends on one of your other companions and tackles him to the ground. And one of your other companions draws its sword and runs towards it, trying to slash down at it, and it backhands him across the face. And he flies 10 feet away and smashes into a tree as the wolf dips its head down and rips the throat out of another one of your companions. As you
I'm sorry, guys.
as you kind of rush into one of the houses, are you going to try to hide or just keep running?
I'm gonna try to keep running.
Okay. So as you run off into the forest, you hear the screams of your companions as this wolf rips them to shreds. And you hear another scream as it appears to fall on another one of your traveling companions. And then you see as this dark shape kind of rushes further into the town. And
Oh.
then that's kind of where we are taking our break for everyone, and we'll wait till everyone gets back.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Present.
Man, my character's gonna have PTSD. Just to warn you guys.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
everyone
My
here
character
is.
has PTSD
I think
already.
I have PTSD after that. Shit.
Welcome to the club. This
Yep.
is Josh's campaign.
Yep. I wonder when the blood rain will begin again.
So as you kind of run into the forest, eventually you stop and kind of look around, and you see as there's this house kind of up on a hill, and you see as this shape kind of like stands on the roof, and you see it silhouetted in the moon as it reaches its head up, and you hear this loud howl that kind of echoes through the forest as you see the shape kind of drop down off the roof of the house. And Ayla and everyone else, as you guys are kind of like hanging out in the forest, you hear this howl as it kind of echoes through the forest in towards the north, kind of like northeast from where you guys are all located. And Yue, are you going to like hide in the forest until morning, or are you going to go investigate?
Investigate the howling wolf?
Yes.
Hell no, I'm gonna go hide.
Okay. So all of you
Screw
kind of
that.
find your hiding spaces, and you you wait through the night as the sun or the moon kind of slowly descends behind the horizon, and you guys all have a horrible night. None of you sleep as the sun begins to rise over the horizon, and the night kind of fades, and it's the early morning hours of dawn. Um, what are you guys all going to do? Starting with you, Ayla and Anton.
All right. All right.
Anton.
Let me. Oh, that's a.
Oh, sorry,
Caden.
and Caden.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, wait a second.
All right. Now let's try walking back towards the camp. Hold my hand, Ayla, and I'm gonna look through Valentine's eyes.
All right.
So as she's also, I'm assuming, Ayla is using her her better survival skills to
Yes.
take us where we're going. I'm pretty much gonna have Valentine circling within like 100 feet of me, so I maintain contact, just looking for others, and also so when we get closer, I can see the road before we're there.
Of course. And what about you, Eris? What are you doing?
During the night, I'm gonna be like hiding up in a tree.
Okay. And then as the sun kind of comes up, what are you gonna head back towards the cart, or are you gonna just stay there?
Uh, I'm gonna wait a little bit until it like is a little bit more sunny, and then I'll come back to the cart.
Okay. And what about you, Iris?
As the day breaks, just making sure I'm muted. As day breaks, Iris is gonna look around for Crackle, who I presume came back because there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
We ought to just stay out here, huh? And then she's gonna start making her way back to the road.
Okay. So, Caden, as you guys get closer to the where the cart is, you send your familiar out to kind of take a look, and he flies kind of to the road, and he gets a view of the road. Are you looking through his eyes?
Yes, yes.
So as he breaks into the road, you see your both of your carts are still there, and you see as he flies up there, the sides of the cart have been ripped off to expose this huge iron cage that fills the entire back of the cart, and it appears like the cage has been open, and lying on the ground at the back of the cage is two paladins with blood streaming from their throats,
Oh.
and their silvery armor has turned pitch black.
Ooh.
And both of them are lying there dead. Their helms have been ripped off, and you can see that their faces have become entirely black. And I need you to roll a perception save or a perception check.
Okay. I get advantage
Okay.
through the owl. Why wouldn't it let me click that? Is there another one?
Oh.
So, roll an in like as you're looking at them, there's just something wrong with the bodies. You can't really put your finger on it, and so you're like you're trying to think about it. And go ahead and roll an insight check.
Okay. Jesus.
So
Damn.
these two bodies, like as the sun is kind of like shining from them, there should be a shadow extending out away from them, but they have no shadow.
And Ayla, you're holding my hand. I can't hear you, but I can talk, and I'll like dictate things. Well, whatever was in that box killed those paladins for us, so I guess that's one less problem. There's something strange about them. The bodies aren't casting shadows. I wonder if those are illusions then. Maybe our problems aren't gone. I'll keep an eye on the area with Valentine. Or you know what? Here. And I'm going to have Valentine swoop down just to check to see if they're existing and not just like illusions, not casting shadows.
So is he going to land on them
Yeah.
or? Okay, so he lands on the one of the paladins, and it is absolutely solid. Like it is definitely a body.
Well, fuck. I didn't expect that. It seems like these things. This is a real body, and for whatever reason, it does not cast a shadow.
And as you kind of get closer, you see as Ralphie kind of like pokes his head out and sees the owl, and then pokes his head back underneath the cart.
Well, Ralphie's alive. That's good. Uh,
I'll squeeze his hand. I don't know if you feel it, but I'm like,
yeah,
it's
I'll be able to feel. I just can't hear anything or see except through the owl.
And as you're kind of like on the ground, you see as this trail of blood kind of leads off to the northeast.
To the northeast. Am I assuming that's the whatever was in the box?
You're not sure. You just see that there's a trail of blood.
Yeah, putting a trail of blood that leads off down the road. Oh, we'll get a closer look once we're there. I think it's safe enough to go onto the road at least.
Um, and I need Iris and
Spells
Arius to both make survival checks.
I can get my spells back, yeah.
Yes. Both of you are like, okay, let's go back to the cart. And you walk for about 20 minutes and you look around and you're like, I have
my
no
God.
idea where the hell I am.
That sucks.
Well, fuck.
And then Arius, you're wandering around too, and you're like, I have no idea where I am. And then as you're kind of like standing there, kind of like looking around, you feel something land on your shoulder. What do?
Who was that for?
Arius.
Oh.
Arius, you might
It's
be on mute.
on my.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's from like behind me, right?
From above, like it
From
almost feels
above?
like something drips onto you.
I look up and see what it is.
So as you kind of look up, another drip lands in your face, and as you kind of like wipe it away,
Yeah.
and you look at your hand comes away dark red, like the color of blood.
Okay, I'm gonna like move out of the way and can I investigate it?
Yep. You see kind of up in the tree, appears to be a body, sitting in one of the trees, just dripping blood.
Okay. Do I know who it's from?
It
Like what
looks
buddy is?
it looks just kind of like a random traveler. Like he's
Okay.
wearing like a dirty kind of like traveler's clothes, and it looks like his throat's been ripped out.
I say, poor guy, and I start walking more in the direction that I think the cart is in.
And real quick, roll a perception check. And you can see that this individual up in the tree, like, isn't casting a shadow either.
Okay, I'll make a mental note of that and then I'll keep going on.
Okay. So Caden and Ayla, you guys managed to find your way back to the cart. And as you guys kind of like step into are you guys going to step into the open?
Yeah.
Or are you guys going to
Uh-huh.
stand? So as you step into the open, you see as something starts to scramble out from underneath the cart. What do you
And
guys do?
he would have said that he saw him under. He said
Correct.
he saw him under there, so I'm expecting to see him.
So you see as Ralphie kind of like scrambles out from under the cart and he sees you, Ayla, and he comes rushing towards you, and like he gives you this enormous hug, and he's like, "Oh my God, I thought you were dead, Ayla. Oh, I'm so
gonna say
happy to
this-
see you."
Pretty much gonna say like essentially the same thing as he's talking. Like I thought you were dead. I'm so happy that you're not dead. Oh my God, I didn't want to leave you. Fuck. And I'll like stand up straight.
And-
What happened?
As you say that, he kind of steps back and he goes, "Really? You didn't
What
want to leave me?" And
And I'm just gonna kind of like look at him and like kind of rub my lips. I mean, my tongue against my teeth a little bit. You know, play with my nose, and then what happened?
he says, I don't know. I woke up and those paladins were dead, and Bilko's dead.
Yes.
And
Bilko's dead.
and and I don't know what happened after that. I just know that you guys were gone, and so I hid under the cart, and then I heard this howling, and I was so scared that you were dead, Ayla.
I'm very very happy that both of us have made it through the night.
Me
Um,
too. But it
what
looks like the girl got away.
The girl.
the girl?
Oh.
Is
Um,
that
that-
what was in the box?
and he kind of looks like sheepish, like, oh shit, I've said too much.
I
And
mean,
he's
it's literally the cat's out of the bag. Like, it's out.
Just think about it this way. Any information we know about whatever was in the box will help us retrieve it
he
and
says
complete the mission.
we have to get it back. It was a I only saw her once. It was a little girl, and she had this smile on her face.
She.
She always was smiling, just always. It was the creepiest thing I'd ever seen in my entire life.
Hmm.
Like, and she never spoke. She just smiled at you with these big round eyes. It's terrifying. But Bilko was telling me that this was his plan was he was going to take the girl, and he was going to take her to the headquarters of the moon paladins, and he was going to let her loose, and she was supposed to kill them, like get rid of them, like take them out of the fight.
Well,
That's all I know.
looks like it would have worked if we'd gotten her there.
You know, if we would have known this information, that's what he wanted to do with we could have arranged a sort of trade when we had this. Oh my God. If they wanted what was in the box, I mean, they probably would have opened it and released her anyway.
Imagine. They just took it.
If we, I know it's not your fault. I'm just frustrated because we could have, if we knew this information and the end goal, we could have really helped better.
Bilko told me I wasn't allowed to say anything,
I know, I know.
and he looks at you and he says, also, maybe I should tell you, you guys have probably figured it out. And then he takes a step back, and he like lifts his head into the air, and his mouth extends into the shape of a rat's face, and his arms get long and lanky, and his legs kind of curl with these kind of like longer, you know what a rat person would look like with the long legs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, and he turns himself into a rat.
Yeah, I immediately, what the fuck? And I put my sword towards him, and then these
And then
blue arcane swords start spinning around me.
and I hold my hand up. It's like it's just Ralphie.
I mean, yeah, but he's a rat.
He
Yeah,
takes a
and
step
I'm
back from
human.
you, and he puts his hands up, and he's like, "Nope, I'm on your side.
All
It's
right,
just, I figured I should tell you everything."
fair enough. I'll sheath my sword.
And he says, "Where's Arius and Iris?"
That's a good question.
Do you think I should shoot off fireworks? It's like a
Ye-
flare.
Do you think Valentine will be able to circle and see if
I'm
maybe?
just glad the paladins we don't have to worry about right now.
So we think.
So
Well,
as you're
we were informed that there'd be 2 at most.
so as
Yeah.
the sun is kind of like rising up behind you, Caden, I want you to roll a perception check.
You know, I automatically fail those, right?
Mm-hmm. You too, Ayla.
Perception.
Yes.
I rolled my passive.
Hold on.
Do you really fail them, or are you
No,
just saying that?
I just consistently don't
Oh.
do.
Yes, roll
But
poorly.
it's carried over from the last campaign with this character, so
So
It's normal.
um, as you're looking at Ralphie Ayla, the sun kind of like peaks up a little bit higher, and you see as four shadows are cast against the side of the cart.
Uh, like I'm looking at him. It looks like he has two shadows.
So you can obviously see there's your shadow, uh, Caden's shadow, his shadow, and there's another one.
Where is that other one in comparison to the rest of us?
It's against the cart behind Ralphie.
Okay, so I'll like look at the shadow and I'll dart my eyes to like behind Ralphie, see if I could perceive anything behind him. Like move my hand and watch the
Uh-huh.
shadow. Like I'm, moving my hand through the open space and watch the shadow and see what
Yeah,
happens.
and your shadow like moves all normally, and you see as the other shadow looks towards the shadow that you're moving, and then kind of looks back at you and drops down below the cart, and you can't see it anymore.
Um. Uh. uh g- uh, I. Hmm. I'm gonna take out my notebook real fast, write down some notes, do a little sketch of what I just saw and went through, and I'm going to close and be like, I think we're not. I think there's something else here.
I'm like have my rapiers pointed in the air. Yeah. Before I shoot
Uh,
off the fireworks. What
um,
do you
like
mean?
I saw an extra shadow.
I look at the dead bodies and I'm like, well, maybe it's one of theirs.
I mean, if it was one of theirs, it was alive. I put my hand through where it should have been, and the shadow looked at mine. It looked at it, and then it retreated to under the cart.
Well, do you want to take a few stabs under there?
I just, well, not immediately. I'm gonna just peer. I'm gonna peer under there.
You look under the cart and you just see Bilko's body under there with his head bent at a strange angle.
Ugh. Can I get like a torch, light a torch, and like wave it down there and see if I see any unusual shadows?
Okay. Uh, you light your torch and you put it underneath the cart, and as you kind of like reach the torch underneath the cart, you see as like a dark shape seems to like shy away from it and disappear.
Hey, hey, hey! Where? Don't go! What are you?
And
Uh,
nothing.
um, I'm not going to hurt you if you don't intend hurting me. Can you talk? I'm just talking and hoping that it hears. Do you know what's going on? Have you been with us the whole time?
Ralphie looks at you and he's like, "Who are you talking to?"
I don't know. Ralphie, I saw a shadow.
We had a long night last night. Maybe shouldn't get enough sleep.
No, no, I got plenty of sleep.
No gaslighting.
Um,
I
so as this is happening, um, Yue, so you find yourself in the forest as the
can I
sun
shoot a
kind of.
flare?
Oh yeah, go ahead and do that.
Yeah. So I'll shoot the flare as I'm like all right, and I want to flavor it to where it actually kind of looks like a flare and explodes into a single firework.
Absolutely, and that's actually perfect for the transition. Um, so this flare shoots up into the air, and there's like a loud bang, and like the crackling, like those fireworks that do that. Um, and as that happens, we cut to Yue, and you find yourself in the forest, kind of hiding. And as the sun kind of comes up, what are you gonna do?
I am going to just check around and make sure. I'll see if I can see where the road is.
So there's a road that kind of heads away from the town to the southwest.
Okay, I'll take that road.
Okay. So as you start to kind of like walk down the road, you're walking for maybe like 45 minutes, almost an hour, and you see in the distance to the southwest as this bright flash explodes in the air, and you see as the sparkles kind of uh, ignite in the air. Are you going to head towards that?
Yeah, I'll say that she at first is like, "What the hell?" But then she's like, "Well, maybe someone needs help that way." So she's going to go ahead and head that direction,
Okay. Um,
thinking it's a call for help.
and Iris, as you're kind of like wiping the blood kind of off of your face, and you start to head into the forest, you see the same uh kind of explosion in the sky, and you see the fireworks as well as they burst in the air.
That's obviously Caden. Just start making her way that way.
Okay. Um, I need Arius and Iris to both roll survival checks.
I'd say, can we get advantage at this point? But
Oh, thank
Um,
goodness.
so Arius, you kind of wander for a little while, but then when you see that kind of explosion, you start heading that way, and you so you start heading that way, and you wander for a little while longer. Iris, you try to make your way towards the light, but you find yourself getting turned around again. And back to Caden. You see your firework kind of explode in the air, and what are you guys going to do?
Um,
Just
check the bodies.
yeah.
Okay.
Look for
So
clues.
as you are kind of roll me
And that
a,
includes Bilko, like pulling him out from under the cart.
of course. So you pull Bilko out from under the cart, and it appears like the side of his head is kind of caved in, and his neck is clearly broken.
Well, looks
Um,
the same as he always has.
Uh,
And does he have a
Ralph,
shadow?
uh, what was that?
A shadow?
Yes, he is casting a shadow,
Ralphie, well, where were you when you woke up?
and he says, "I was lying on the ground over here," and he points kind of next to the cart where you saw him get kind of thrown to the ground.
Hmm. So whatever was in there just saw you, ignored you, still killed the unconscious, assuming the unconscious Bilko and the two paladins.
Um,
Hmm.
and he kind of looks and he says, "I don't know if it killed Bilko." And he kind of looks at the paladins and he points at the paladins' bodies and he says, "They got their throats ripped out. I think
Hmm.
Bilko had his neck broken and his head caved in."
That's a good eye. I didn't catch that originally. Good job.
Then he like beams, like he has this big smile and he's like all proud of himself. And Caden, roll me an investigation check.
Investigation. Go gadget. Oh, I broke my nail.
Uh, you can take longer and get the 16.
Yep.
Okay. So, as you're kind of like investigating the paladins' corpses,
Mm.
um, you see that both of them have these long great swords, kind of in their hands, kind of fallen away from their dead grip like hands.
Mhm.
Um, their armor, which you clearly remember being this bright kind of like glowing armor, has just completely drained of all color, and it's almost black and like pitted and like almost like it's decaying.
Yeah, it's for Rin.
Um, and are you gonna go through their pockets and stuff like that?
Definitely.
Oh, show.
So inside of one of the one that tried to kill all of you, you find a coin purse,
Mhm.
and inside the coin purse you find 5 platinum pieces and 15 gold pieces, and you find a ring, like a signet ring, and the signet on the ring is like a dragon, um, with like a mane of kind of like swords, and you know this to be the symbol of the dragonkin. And you also find like a medallion around his neck, and the medallion has that same kind of dragon symbol, silhouetted uh, on a full moon behind it.
Okay.
And you're not sure what that symbol means, but both of them have that amulet. And then in the other one's coin pouch, you find 50 gold pieces.
Mhm.
And another one of those signet rings.
What about on Philco?
On
Philco.
So as you kind of go through Bilko's pockets, you find a brass key, and you find his flask. His flask is made out of silver, and it has a symbol on it of an eyeball with feathers for eyelashes.
What about like the boxes? All the remaining boxes.
Okay, so as you guys are kind of finishing up with this, you see as Arius starts to walk out of the forest into the clearing. Um,
Oh, you're alive. Did you get attacked at all?
No, but I did find a body in the trees and it
What?
was bleeding and there was no shadow.
Was it a lunar paladin?
No, it was just some traveler.
What? These two lunar paladins don't have a shadow either, and they were
Hmm.
killed. What did it look like when it was dead?
it You could clearly see it had its throat ripped out.
It had been killed by having its throat ripped out.
Ugh, it's just like these fellows over here, and I'll point to them. I think whatever was in the cage killed these guys and the person you found in the tree.
And Caden, as you're kind of exploring the area around the bodies,
Mhm.
you see these long, like footprints. They're maybe like 18 inches long, and you can tell that they have like they're almost like an elongated dog's paw, and they have these long like kind of indentations at the end of each of the toes that appear to be pierced into the ground,
Okay.
maybe like 2 or 3 inches.
Oh.
Jeez. Oh, that's one big
And
fella.
they head off to the northeast.
Well, we definitely don't want to go that way. Hey, Iris, I'm glad to see you're alive. And then I'm gonna kind of sit down cross-legged next to the dead paladins and pick up one of their swords across my lap, and I'll start
So
casting.
as soon as
Oh
you
no!
grab its sword, I need you to roll a Constitution save.
Oh.
Damn it! I am strong in the Constitution. Just kidding.
So as you grab the sword, you feel like this overwhelming cramping in your hand to the point where like your hand almost like curls into that of a claw, and the sword just falls from your grip.
Well, fuck. Well, that's okay. Never mind.
Um, and Iris, I need you to roll another survival save.
I'm gonna make an assumption that it's not made for people who use magic like I do, based off of the context.
I will say no words.
Yeah, no, it's just Caden's assumption.
Finally.
Oh,
So
damn.
finally, after like a good hour and a half of wandering around, uh, you just accidentally wander and you burst out into a road, and you kind of look to the kind of like to the north, to the northeast, and you see what appears to be a cart like way in the distance down the road.
Just and she's gonna start walking that way. She's gonna have Crackles take the lead a little bit,
Okay.
and actually, she's going to bring Crackles over, scribble out on a piece of paper. I'm not approaching the wagons, and put it in Crackle's claws, and tell Crackle, if the others are there, hand them this. If not, come back.
Okay. And so Crackle goes flying off. And are you so you wanted to investigate the cart with the supplies in it, right, Ayla?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of like jump up into the cart, and how are you going to investigate? As you kind of look through it, it's all these boxes. As you kind of like pry the lids off of them, are filled with like rope and pulleys and like nails and like dowels and stuff like that. It's clearly like construction materials.
Okay, so like even if I dig through them, pull out the supplies, like everything is just just in case I hid something at the way bottom.
Are you gonna dump them out or just
Yeah, I'm gonna take
rifle through?
everything out of the boxes.
So
We're
you
just gonna make
start
a pile.
pouring out these boxes and roll an investigation check.
Sure. Oh, nice.
The
Damn.
odds on your side.
What is going on with all these crits,
Whoa.
man? Because
Until
Two
we go in
crits.
combat.
That's insane.
so as you're kind of searching through a couple of the boxes, you find that 2 or 3 of them appear to have false bottoms.
Ooh,
Noise.
I'm gonna open those false bottoms.
So as you pry open the false bottom,
That's what
um,
she said.
you you
Sorry.
find in the bottom of one of them, you find a rod with what appears to be arcane symbols on it. In another one, you find a like gloves uh that are like pitch black and they appear to like absorb light.
Hmm.
And in the third one, you find a like a it's like a mask and it appears to be like the mask of a um like a wolf, but the eyes appear to be like these dark kind of gems in the eyes.
So a wolf mask with gem eyes, and what kind of gems? Like what color?
They're like these kind of like onyx, cut very very thin, almost see through.
Okay. And what was the first thing?
It was a rod with arcane symbols on it.
Okay.
And if you guys remember from the very first session, these are the boxes that you detected magic in the bottom of.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mhm.
And as you're doing this, you're kind of like holding the mask in your hands, and you hear footsteps coming down the road from the northeast. And Yue, as you're walking down the road, you see 2 carts with 2 dead horses at the front of them, and you see a woman standing on the cart holding a mask in her hand. What do you guys do?
What do you guys or you do?
What do you do first, uh, Yue? You see her first.
I am going to, from the circumstances, I am like, what the hell? So I'm gonna try and like sneak around and kind of like investigate from afar.
Okay, roll a stealth check.
Oh my god! First
So,
Well, there's
roll.
not 20 in there.
so
A
Ayla,
2? That's
as you look
ridiculous.
up, and you're a water ganassi, correct?
Yes,
So you have blue skin.
yes, light blue.
So as you kind of look up, you see this woman kind of like dart into the woods, and she appears to have like blue skin, and she appears to hide behind a tree. What do you do?
I will kind of, pocket put in the stuff that I found that I can fit in my bag, and I'll go to Kate and be like, I just saw somebody go into the trees, a woman, blue skin,
Oh, shit. Do you think it's one of them?
a lunar paladin.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think
Well,
so.
I guess yeah, it probably wouldn't have hit in the trees, huh?
No. Should we just call out?
Yeah, I'll hear
Okay.
all thaumaturgy, and I'll thaumaturgy my voice like, "Come out of the woods. We know you're there."
Okay, so she like kind of pokes her head out slowly and looks at you guys to see if you're gonna like shoot arrows at her or something. And when she realizes that you're not going to, she's gonna step out and just slowly walk towards you, but she's gonna stay about 20 feet away and just stand there awkwardly.
So,
And Yue, go ahead and describe what they see as this water ganassi steps out from behind the tree.
Okay, so she's about 6 feet tall, and she's got this light blue skin and incredibly long white hair that's braided at the top, but the rest is just kind of flowing behind her, um, and it's just slightly wavy. And then she wears pretty much all white and silver and black, or so it's all white, like monk robes. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like tied around the waist with black, and then there's silver like elements to everything that she's wearing, and her arms are covered in um, white like leather wraps, and she's I guess ethereal looking. She looks otherworldly. Uh, I would assume she's out of place here. So
And what do, Ayla, as you see this woman kind of walking towards you?
I take out my notebook and draw. I make a note, and I'm like staring at her, like I look like I'm literally like in a frenzy. You
yeah,
know.
sorry, excuse my friend. Um, Clearly, you're a sight. Not in a bad way, I guess. But I guess this isn't
you
what
can
it
see
looks
her
like.
cheeks turn red from 20 feet away.
Um, yeah, we ran into problems on many fronts, and we just got back after hiding in the woods for the whole night. There was a giant,
After, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, there was a giant creature that attacked on top of these guys, and I point at these dead paladins. And it looks like one of them, the creature, took care of this problem, but that creature's his own problem.
So she,
Oh, sorry, go on.
sorry. Well, I was just gonna say she, after hearing what you guys went through, she's gonna just approach a little bit closer to you, um, and kind of see like the paladins that you're pointing at, and kind of like just checking everything out. And go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just at that point of saying, okay, like I'm going to put my notebook away and say, yes. So, um, who are you?
I'm Yue, and uh, hearing your story, it's
Yue. Hold on. Can you spell that for me?
Yue.
Yue. What are you?
I am. Why are you laughing?
He's laughing at. He's laughing at Ayla.
Yeah.
Okay. What was I? What did you ask me?
I
I
asked,
forgot.
what are you?
I am a genasi, an air genasi.
Air
Okay,
Genasi. Are
Ayla,
you like
this can
a?
wait a little bit.
Oh,
You can do this.
okay.
Let's figure out this whole situation.
Right, right.
All right.
You said there was a giant creature, correct?
Yeah.
That
Wait,
attacked
no, no,
them.
no, no. A giant creature? That's not what.
Oh
No, it
shit!
was
I
a
didn't see
child.
anything.
It was a small girl, according to our friend here, Ralphie. It was a
Oh,
small girl who doesn't stop smiling and apparently kills people by ripping out their throats and taking away their shadows.
well, okay. The small girl made really big footprints in the ground.
So
They're
Hmm.
huge,
after
and I point them out to you.
How did I miss that?
You
she
were
kind of
busy drawing
stiffens,
shadows.
so she stiffens and like is kind of in shock a little bit, and then she looks at you and she says, "I know what that creature is. That is
What?
no little girl."
You know what it
How
is?
did you know what it?
She kind of, you can see her eyes are glistening a little bit, and She's on the verge of tears and she's trying to like hold it back so that she can speak. Last night, my companions and I were attacked, and I cowardly ran away, but there was no way we were going to be able to fight it off. And unfortunately, it it killed all of them, and it was a giant, and I mean giant wolf, and there was just no way we could have stopped it.
Was it a werewolf? It was a full moon last night.
It looked it looked like a giant wolf. It definitely wasn't a child.
So probably unlikely to catch it in that form, I assume.
So we've got a traumatized werewolf child
By the way,
killing people.
it was in our wagons, apparently. We didn't know.
We didn't know. No, yeah.
And Iris, as this is all happening, you kind of like get closer and you can see Ayla, Caden, and Arius standing there talking to this blue woman. What do you do?
Iris or Arius?
Iris.
Okay. Um, does she sing this through the?
Yes, correct. Through your bat.
Mm, they don't seem to be at each other's throats, so Iris is just gonna start walking on down there.
Okay, and as you guys are talking, you hear footprints approaching from behind, or footsteps approaching from behind.
Yue
I'll
is
turn and
gonna
look.
she's gonna put her hands on her quarterstaff.
Um, what do you and Ayla and Caden? What do you guys do?
I'm assuming we see her.
If you turn around and look, yes.
Oh,
you
behind
Yeah.
see
us.
her.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll turn around, I guess.
So as you turn around, you see as Iris is kind of walking up the road, and I guess we haven't described our characters for UA, but we'll do that in a second.
Iris, you're alive. Did you run into any other dead bodies?
No,
No.
no
Okay.
dead bodies.
We've got a guest. I'm assuming that you saw the flare that I shot.
Yes, that's very. Yes.
And you,
Okay.
UA. Sorry.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Were you asking
Oh, if you
me?
saw it, if that's why you were
Oh,
here.
I did see something explode in the air. I thought maybe someone was requesting help.
No, we got separated when we got attacked. So I shot that up, considering now we didn't have to worry about these
You,
paladins.
have you seen
Paladins?
Arius?
Eris, she's already here.
Yeah, Arius is kind of off to the side.
Hi.
Hello.
She's gonna just scoot next to Ayla and stand there. Look at all the massacre. I think it
So
is a massacre.
for UA's benefit, Iris, go ahead and describe your character.
How would I describe Arius? I wish I wrote that down. She seems like a relatively young, uh, I don't know if her hair is black or brown at this point. Let me see if I have that written down. Yes, it is black hair. She's kind of tan from being outside most of the time. Pretty short, 5'6". She's kind of wearing raggedy leather clothing, like a woodsman would.
What race?
Normal human.
Oh, okay.
And Ayla, go ahead and describe your character.
Um, Ayla is a human. She has red hair, and she has a very like tall posture. And she's, taller than your average woman, but not like super tall. She's just like 5'9", you know. But her movements are sort of graceful, like more so like regal, but like because of how her posture is, it's like she's used to people like
She's a
like what's the
noble.
word of
Yeah.
yeah. I was
Okay.
trying to describe noble without
I
actually describing
I
noble.
I totally got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But her clothing, like just some slacks, leather armor. She has um a bow, like a crossbow, and a morning star that she carries on her back. And she looks really young, like no older than like you if you had to guess, like between 17 and 19.
Okay.
And Caden, go ahead and describe your character.
Well, I'm a red tiefling, black eyes all the way through, like no irises, no anything, just voids. And he has he has antlers instead of like the regular pointy horns, and yeah, a tail. He's wearing like a long purple overcoat with I think a cape, pretty much the character I made. um, yeah, wearing like purples, and he has some armor. He looks like a grandpa. He's older. He's got gray and black hair, uh, like little bits of white and gray mixed in. Yeah, he
And
has.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna like he has a rapier, um, and maybe like a book on his side or something. I don't know.
And Arius, go ahead and describe your character.
Uh, where should I begin? I am a 23-year-old, so still relatively young. Um, Moon elf. I have purple eyes, and they're like kind of like how Cadens are, but purple, how they're like voids. Um, but like just like the solid color, you know. I have blue skin and silver hair. Um, I'm pretty like slender, not like super skinny, but like you could tell like I'm like gymnast kind of like
Athletic.
combat athletic, yeah. But not like bulky athletic. Um, and I wear a cloak and I have pointy ears like an elf. I don't know.
And standing next to them is Ralphie, and he's like kind of a tall, gangly guy. You can see he looks kind of like dim-witted, and he's got like kind of like a mousy face, and he's always got his mouth kind of like slightly open, and he has kind of like buck teeth and like an underbite or overbite. I can't remember which it is.
Over.
Um, like an overbite, and yeah, he looks very much kind of like a mouse or a rat.
I picture him as like a skinny Peter Pettigrew.
Oh my God, okay. I was gonna say the same thing. I immediately, as soon as he did like the rat thing, I was like, ah, it's Peter Pettigrew.
I need
Hmm.
to look this person up now.
Oh yeah,
Harry
yeah.
Potter, come
That's a
on,
good.
man.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly.
So Yue also has a staff, or a quarter staff.
Yep, that works
But it's
perfectly.
like it's wrapped in like it seems like white, like I don't know, satin ribbon. And then it has stars dangling from the top of it, and they just glow lightly.
And as Ralphie is watching all of you guys kind of talk to each other, he's like, "Guys, we really got to find her. We can't just let her loose. Like, I don't think you guys realize what we've let loose in the world."
Do you have any more information, like where she might be going?
How to subdue her, put her back in a box.
That's
I
another
I
good
know where she
question.
was last night, but I don't know if you want to pursue this person if she turns into a giant wolf that attacked three of my companions.
Well, maybe she only turns on the full moon, and that's past, right?
That's tomorrow, I think.
I thought last night was the full moon.
No, it was waxing or waning, whatever. The one right before tomorrow is a full moon.
Oh, the gibbet. Oh, okay, my bad. My bad. Waxing
We
gibbous.
Yes. And Ralphie says, all I know is Bilko used to he had some way to control her. He said, and she would listen to him.
Hmm. Would he? Did you notice if he'd hold anything in his hand, or did he say certain words?
I don't know. All I know is when he would go into the warehouse, there'd be a bright light in there, and he would talk to her, and she would listen to him. He said that he asked her to get into the cart, and she just obeyed him.
Hmm. Well, I did find some magical items. Maybe they might be magical enough to help.
Well, I can identify them if you need me to.
Yes.
Um, one at a time. It takes me like 10 minutes each time.
Oh,
Okay.
detects magic to help.
Yeah.
Probably won't be as useful though.
So,
Well, detect. We know these are magic, so
Don't tell us what kind.
yeah. But
Uh,
I'll cast identify as a ritual, and it'll take me 10 minutes.
okay.
So
Which
hand
one are
me
you gonna
the
identify first?
mask, because that sounds cool.
Okay. So you sit down and you start to cast your identify spell. Are all of you guys just kind of like stand around and kind of watch him do it, or are you guys gonna do anything while he's doing that?
Uh, Iris is gonna start talking probably. I'm sorry about last night. I think I almost got us killed. We should have gone with Ayla's plan to just walk by.
like they would have tried to stop us anyway. So they clearly wanted to kill you guys or arrest you for being magic users, or and take the beast that was in the cage. So either way, probably would have had the same outcome.
Okay. She's
Uh,
gonna give a smile to Ayla.
and as Caden is casting his kind of spell, you notice Ayla that Ralphie like never is more than like a step or two away from you. Like you can, if you have a high enough perception, you notice like a couple of times he'll like stand next to you and like go to like put his arm around you to comfort you, and then be like, oh, nope. um, and Caden, you finish casting your spell on the mask, and you know, I basically tell you what the item is, correct?
Yeah, I believe. You choose one object that you can touch throughout the casting spell. That it is, if it is a magic item or some other magical imbued item, you learn the properties and how to use them. Whether it requires attunement, how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether the spells are affecting the item, or if any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it. If instead you touch a creature throughout the casting, you learn what spells, if any, it's currently affecting it.
Okay,
So
so
even
this
curses.
this mask is used, so you wear it and it prevents moonlight or other types of light from passing through into your eyes, um, and it prevents anyone from actually seeing your real face. um, your face kind of becomes just what the mask is. If you are somebody who happens to see uh, with moonlight.
So
So
it
you could
stops you
only.
from seeing moonlight?
So it stops somebody else from seeing your face if they can only see properly with with the light of the moon.
That's
So
that's confusing.
like if somebody that is looking at you and they can only see moonlight,
Uh huh.
your face appears to be that of a wolf.
Okay.
But other people would still see that you're wearing a mask,
Correct.
and it stops light, the moonlight, or any kind of light from going through. So how
Just
do you see?
moonlight
Oh, just
from
moonlight.
entering
Okay.
into you, like it prevents light like moonlight from entering into the mask or leaving the mask.
Okay.
So, do you think? Uh, I'll explain everything you said essentially. And, like, do you think this is something that we would put on her to prevent her from changing, keep her out of the moonlight.
Makes sense to me.
Do
I guess
do werewolves change because they see the moon or because the moon is just there?
I don't know.
Or what about those lunar paladins? Do they? I noticed that they used moonlight. They would absorb the light to do their power. So I'm wondering if you wear this mask and they have powers that might affect you, you wouldn't be affected.
That is a very reasonable assumption.
Yeah, what God said. Um, and you said you had another item.
Yes, there's some gloves that look like they might be absorbing light.
All right, I guess we can do that one as well. And same thing.
Okay.
Tammed out.
So you identify the gloves, and what they do is they absorb the light of the moon, and like don't want to give you away what they actually are used for. So basically, they absorb all forms of light. Um, so like, say there was like something that you didn't want the moonlight to touch, you would put these gloves on, and all of the moonlight would absorb into them instead of entering anything around you.
So, like, would it be dark then?
Correct. Right around the gloves, it's just darkness around the gloves. It's almost like all light is just absorbed into them.
Okay.
And then are
And
you going to
what's
do
the
the?
radius on that?
So it's within 5 feet of you. It's a 5 foot radius.
Okay.
And then and the gloves appear to be almost the size of a like for a child.
A child.
Let's
Okay.
Yes.
put them on the girl.
And
Do you think the girl could be reasoned with?
They kept her in a cage, hidden
Yeah,
in
but
darkness.
I don't exactly take. She's gonna gesture off towards that dude's dead body. I don't exactly trust him to have a compelling argument for anybody.
Mm, possibly. I also know that, yeah, because it could be useful if you were to wear them and you'd be fighting a Luna Paladin and they can't suck in the moon, but you have to be really close to them, and I don't see how that would be useful.
I
Hmm.
would have liked wearing it last night when I got sunburned by it.
You got sunburned by the moon?
Yeah,
Is that something that happens? You do know that the sunlight is reflected off the moon.
so
Like,
that's Moon Paladins.
what?
He said, "Tell that to the Moon Paladins," or she.
Oh, to the moon paladin. The moon paladins did that to you. Oh.
Oh yeah, he got moonbeamed.
One shot by a freaking moonbeam.
I forgot.
That's
Okay,
funny.
and the last one is the rod with arcane
Oh
symbol.
shit, there's more. Okay. All right.
um, so when you identify the rod,
Mhm.
this rod casts the spell sunlight.
Dope. So we got lots of tools here.
Okay. So, if we find this girl and we put the gloves on her, what's to keep from her from taking them off?
Here, can can I do like a roll because I'm not as smart as my character, an intelligence check to
Yes.
see if I can get a hint?
Yes.
Okay. Um, intelligence. Boom.
Ooh.
Hey,
So,
Damn.
Yeah, he can brain blast. I can't.
so if you were to put these on a creature that absorbs moonlight,
Mhm.
she would not be able to absorb said moonlight.
Okay.
and it would prevent her from potentially changing into something else.
Well, we know that.
I didn't.
The
I
rod
just said
is
Well,
that.
it would keep her from turning it or from taking them off.
Yeah.
So I guess you would know this. Once they're on you, uh, you can't physically remove them from your body. You have to have them removed.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
What if she has to wipe her butt though?
Well,
I
she gets
guess.
poop on them.
Hopefully she's using some paper.
I'm not investigating cage to find out.
Oh my god. Which is there a little chamber pot in there? Or
Oh.
worse, none? Just fecal matter everywhere.
Hey, look, can you touch that sword?
Oh, do
I
you want me
lost
to
all my
go pick it up?
veracity. I mean, I got tased by it.
Uh,
I was just
are
wondering,
you know?
because I have dirty magic. You have air quotes with my fingers, clean magic.
All right, I'll go and try to pick it up.
Okay, you pick up the sword, and you feel like this kind of energy flow through you. And mechanics wise, you have an extra spell slot of every level.
Jesus,
Oh,
Holy fuck.
fuck you.
the sword. It did. I
The
actually
wizard is
feel more
jealous.
powerful. I feel more powerful. Like I might be able to do magic for a little longer while I'm holding this.
Here, let me try one more time.
Oh,
I touch it.
Roll a Constitution save.
Fun stuff.
that's an intelligence.
Yep.
That sounds about right. And again, your hand like cramps up, and this time it's like 10 times worse than it was last time. And you take 1 point of like
Fair
I
enough.
don't know what kind of bludgeoning damage, I guess.
For the sword, I mean, what kind of like what would I put in my?
It is a +1 greatsword.
Okay.
Well, I got into the wrong business. That
So
hurt.
Yue is just kind of like watching everything unfold and is just very curious about what you guys are doing.
And Ralphie's like, we have to find her, guys.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't know.
you're right. Sorry.
What are you going to do with this girl when you find her?
Lock her
When
up
she
and
turns, she is a murderous beast.
Of course. Do you want to leave a murderous beast in the wild so she can kill more people?
Are you going to kill her or put her away?
I have a
we're gonna throw her over a wall.
no. I have a something to say about. What about if we take her to the tower?
No.
What? What? What tower?
You would actually know of this.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So Ayla is she works for a tower. It's called Ugna's Rest. It is been converted into an adventurers kind of school, and Thule is one of the like I don't want to say like headmaster. She's like a high-ranking official for that tower. In fact, she's tried to recruit you multiple times to kind of come and join her at the tower, but you've never really wanted to because it would take you away from your ability to kind of like explore the world and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
But the only reason why I'm saying take him to the tower because the tower apparently knows a lot of everything. Not that I'm trying to kill the people in the tower, mind you. Not all of them. But I feel like if any place might have a place to help her recover or, you know, figure out what's
Well,
going on, it would be the tower.
I
Uh,
disagree.
Ralphie says we have to take her to where we were supposed to be bringing her. They have plans for her. It's the only way we win the war. We have to get her to Winthrop.
What plans are you talking
Look,
about?
we were supposed to deliver this child, apparently, this beast, so we can
But
complete the mission.
Ugh,
what
that's
did they
true.
plan to do with her though? It
They
was
wanted.
Throw her
They
over a wall to fight the enemy for us.
they plan to take her to I need to come up with a name for this place. They plan to take her to the headquarters of the Moon Paladins and let her loose there.
They're
Oh,
pretty much trying to use her to eliminate, you know. But the thing is, I don't understand about that is that the couple nights ago they came and tried to get into the box and attacked us, and we got through that.
I don't think they knew what was in the box, but I think they knew that we had some kind of a weapon.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I don't think they would have opened it if they knew. They both died.
that's a good point. I need to sleep some more.
So we would like to get that girl back, and
If
hopefully she's not an innocent little girl, innocent evil being that I don't feel bad about transporting to the enemy lines.
I don't think that she would die though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
well, would you mind if I joined you? I have a personal stake in this matter.
You're not going to try to stop us, are you?
Why would I try to stop you?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
This creature killed my companions. Now you say she's a little girl, and she kind of puts her hand to her heart, which also makes me want to help her. So as long as she is safe and unable to hurt anyone else, I will help you.
But
Is that okay?
you're okay with letting her hurt the lunar paladins? They're not very nice people, so
Mm.
she could take them all. Have a snack or
I
two.
I suppose I'll decide that as we go on. I don't do would I know of them, what these guys
so,
are?
yes, so the Lunar Paladins are like the elite kind of strike teams for
Okay,
the
so I
Dragon
would
King,
know. I
and
would
you're
know that they're Oh yeah,
correct.
that's right, because we're fighting a war with them.
And
Oh,
Tuli's a
then yes,
commander in the war against them.
got it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So I would say absolutely.
All
I
right,
will.
let's
I
go.
I'm
Start.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, no. Let's do this. She didn't say that. I did. Sorry.
And as you say that, Ralphie kind of looks at you, Ayla, and he says, I think I may be able to track it. Would,
Really?
would that be helpful?"
Yes.
And he kind of looks at you, UA, and he says, um, "I'm gonna do something, and it's gonna be quite surprising. Just
Maybe
understand that I'm on your side."
say what it is before you do it, because I almost stabbed you.
That is true. I am. I think the best thing to do is just show her. And he kind of like spreads his arms out and like lifts his head up in the air, and his face kind of elongates into like a snout, and his arms kind of extend almost too long, and he has like these little uh like rat shaped feet, and he kind of turns into a human sized rat, and he
She's utterly disgusted right now.
Poor
and
rat.
he kind of stalks
Oh,
over um to where the Moon Paladins are laying there with their throats ripped out, and he starts to sniff around, and he slowly like turns back into himself, and he says, "They went this way," and he kind of points to the northeast, which is the he points almost in the exact same direction of the town that you were camped in last night. UA.
Yue. That is where I saw the creature or the girl.
All right.
That is where my companions were attacked.
Really sorry to hear about those companions.
So am I. Thank you.
All right, and are you guys gonna head in that direction?
Should we though? Hold on, pause. Like for Celeste, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Should
Oh
we
Is it
shit!
end
really?
here?
I didn't
Oh,
even realize how fucking late it was. Holy
neither
shit!
did I.
I
It's
was
11
I was
o'clock.
assuming this was a good wrap up point too.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
if I'd
yeah.
have known it was 11 o'clock, this would have been perfect. So he kind of points in that direction and says, "They went that way." and that is where we will end the session for tonight.
Okay. I was waiting for it. I was like, he's probably gonna end it.
I didn't.
I'm glad you said something, Miranda.
I hadn't even looked at the clock this entire session, so that's my bad.
That's cool.
So, what did you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
By
good.
the,
That was
I
fun.
have to tell you though, that whole Moon Paladin interaction went completely different than I had planned it.
What
I
is
like
your
you
plan?
killing us all.
I
Yeah,
love
for
when
real.
that
Yeah.
happens.
So, what was going to originally happen
D&D.
is the paladin was going to walk up to you. He was going to knock all of you guys unconscious. He was
Okay.
going to tie you guys up, and then you guys were going to watch as he ripped open the freaking thing. You were going to get to actually see the girl, and she were going to actually, as he opens the cage, you were going to see her just launch herself at him, land on top of him, rip his throat out, and change into the wolf.
Well, thank you for giving us agency. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
I was so frustrated that I didn't roll well enough to like grab you because he was gonna grab you and get you guys to surrender by threatening to kill Caden, but then I didn't roll well enough. It's very frustrating. and th- and then as she ran off into the woods, I was hoping that you guys were gonna follow her. Then as you guys followed her, the beast was gonna kill UA's friends, and then you guys were gonna come up, and UA would be the only survivor, and that's how I was gonna have you guys introduced to each other.
Fair enough.
Oh, it worked out okay though.
Yeah, I liked it. It worked out better
Yeah.
because you guys
You dealt
did
with the
all
cards
the
you were
stuff.
handed.
Exactly.
And you figured it out.
Yeah. And as you guys ran off into the woods, I was like, God damn it! My whole little scene where you guys get to see her turn into a wolf.
You're like,
God damn it!
I like that you were like, is anyone nearby?
Yes. Exactly.
Like, nope.
Can someone see this?
Can someone please see my cool freaking transformation?
Oh,
Because
Aw.
what you guys were gonna see is like as they ripped the freaking wooden panels off, the moon energy was gonna like start absorbing into her, and her skin was gonna start rippling. And then as they opened the cage, she was gonna jump on him, and I was gonna describe the whole transformation into the wolf.
nice.
You guys didn't
That's
see
okay.
it.
If a single person was still on the cart besides Ralphie and Bilko, I would have turned back. Like, because I was like, is anyone there? But no one was there, so I was like, Forrest.
Everyone just ran for their lives.
Yep.
Curse
So
logic.
did I. It's okay.
Totally makes sense because these moon paladins were unbeatable. Like you couldn't.
Yeah.
You guys had no chance. So I'm glad you guys. That is what you're supposed to do when you're gonna die.
I am the
But-
most defensive wizard ever.
We've all seen a good horror movie or two, man.
Wow, wow, wow.
Did
And
you?
I'm oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying Ayla's already under the assumption that Soma is trying to kill them all. So she's like,
It's
nah.
paladins after us.
Yeah.
So did you like how I described the attacks to your compatriots? Was it thoroughly distressing to poor UA?
Oh God, yeah, that was PTSD. Oh my God, I'm gonna have her have nightmares or something about it.
Oh no.
That there's no way that didn't affect her. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
And do you guys have any idea what the shadows are yet?
No idea.
Mm-mm.
I'm glad that I kept that a mystery.
Yeah.
I just know that there is.
And then you guys waited until daytime, so you fucked up a lot of my other shit that I was gonna do to make it all creepy. Because it's fucking daytime now.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it makes sense to wait. Give it extra time. We get to sleep. Spells back.
So I just want to show you what my map is, so that you understand why it's such bullshit. Now my map doesn't even work because it's all fucking nighttime
Dang.
map.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Say we get there tomorrow at night.
Yeah, I know the feeling of making a map and like, oh, I guess we're not doing that.
It's fine. I know as a DM, anytime you freaking have something specific you want your party to do, there's almost no chance of them actually doing it.
For real. Oh, man.
So, but that was I enjoyed that thoroughly. That was good
Yeah.
times.
That was awesome. Thank you for letting me join. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Like I thought it was cool because it at least got to describe the wolf a little bit for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to see some of it. And of course, I'm the one that's traumatized now.
Yeah, we're just like, well, it's a little girl.
I'm like, oh hell no. Oh my god.
I,
Um,
I'm
go
super
ahead.
happy that you guys believe what I intended you guys to believe, so that's good. That
Okay.
it's a werewolf.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
know it does. I'm glad that it would make sense
It's
in
a
this
weird
situation.
girl. It's a wolf that turns into
I
a girl.
I feel like there is something more because of the whole shadow thing.
Yeah.
But
And then the
Mhm.
mask that makes you look like a wolf. But there was footprints, though.
Mhm.
So, no idea.
I
mhm.
know. I'm glad. I'm glad none of you have any idea. It means I can reveal mystery as we go along.
I love
Yay.
it.
Wish I had fried pickles.
Alright, but it'll be
Oh,
my
that
turn to
sounds
kill you guys
amazing.
next week. I'm
I
just kidding.
know.
It's all role play now. Mostly.
Oh,
We'll see what happens.
Unless you guys fuck shit up somehow.
so all of you guys can go ahead and
Yes.
level up, even though you guys ran like bitches. Um,
That takes some experience. I
Oh
have been
yeah.
there before.
Bitches live to level up.
my this encounter was my
So,
milestone
do
for
we
you
just
guys to level up.
do we just lose a feat? That feat you were talking about?
Nope, you guys get a feat at level 4. So you get whatever your character actually gets plus a feat. So if you get like a ability score
It's
increase, you also get a feat.
Okay.
So how do you just get a feet like add a feet?
So you would look it up in the actual compendium, which is the eye with the circle around it,
Yeah.
and then
And
just
then
drag and drop it on your character
oh
sheet.
okay.
we're
I
at
rolled
level
average.
4. We're still not adequate for any of the fights we've been in.
I mean, you guys have won all of them, kinda.
Tricks.
You have managed to navigate all of the fights that I have put in front of you.
Hey, you gotta make us feel good. Throw some goblins at us. Like two.
Don't worry, the fights that are gonna if you guys do what I am expecting you guys to do, the fights going forward, you'll be able to win fights. But I don't know. I can't predict you guys anymore.
We're
Like
just piss off the worst person we can.
there is no like murder hobo-ness in you, and there's not even any fucking oh man, I want to fucking find out what's going on or any of that stuff. You guys will happily just fucking abandon your quest and be like, oh, looks like we lost. All right, get the fuck out of here.
We got what's it called? We have a style set. We've already started down the path of failure. We need to maintain it. Keep consistent.
Yes. Other than Ayla, all of you guys are kind of
Yes.
not like in your face type of people. Ayla's kind of mean, but I
Mhm.
like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
She
She's
channels
just
the group's
angry at
anger.
everything.
Uh,
Because like again, remember she like to her these worlds don't even matter to her. She's just
oh
trying to
yeah.
find her people and get back to her world. You know.
I'm just doing this because it might give me more information for my people.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you add feats?
So, in the compendium, which is the circle with the eye,
Yep.
you can click on that and then type the word
Oh,
feats.
feats. Yep, there it is.
You can read all of them, and then when you find a feat that you want, you can type the name of that feat, and then open your character sheet and click and drag it onto your character sheet.
Once I can apply changes right now
Correct.
for
Yeah.
leveling. Okay, I just didn't want to like mess it up.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
What
All
I'm
right, sweet.
what I'm doing, because you can either do that. Usually, when you're leveling up, you can do ability score or a feat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing is I'm adding the feat from there, since it's already going to have the
Yes.
list, and then I'm going to add them manually to my two stats or my stat.
You can do that as well. That
Yeah.
is another way you can do it.
Yeah, I feel like that.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, I already
Yeah,
It
just
would
do
be
it the way
better.
you're
yeah,
like.
yeah.
You'll just
Okay.
search through it and then pick whatever feat you like and just drag and drop it on your character.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, there's a lot to look at. Oh shit. Okay.
There really is. Oh,
Right.
and so one of these days, I want to talk to you about your character, so that I can kind of talk to you about who Tuli is and what your relationship to her is and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, and I wanted to work on my background anyway.
Yeah.
because I didn't have time to do that today.
And you can
At
have
least I got
whatever
my character made.
you can have whatever background you want. The only things that I'm gonna kind of force on you, and uh, we can talk about it if you don't like some of these things that I'm forcing on you, is that you were in that same monastery as Thule,
hmm
and that you and Thule became friends at the monastery,
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
and that you are working for her. So like you're part of the Silver Cannons.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
that's cool.
and however you want to get there, that's totally fine. And whatever your kind of goals in life are, that's fine as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a writer.
And
Okay.
that would fit this perfectly. Maybe you're with the Silver Cannons so that you can experience part of this and kind of record it for posterity, or
Yeah, that's a great idea.
yeah.
Okay. Ow.
You like to be part of history and you believe that this war is going to be a major event in history or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, I love that. That's a great idea.
So.
Neat.
And so in this world, just so you kind of know a little bit about it, several hundred years ago, there was this war where these 5 adventurers all teamed up and they all got artifacts from the gods to defeat this dragon god, which was a bone dragon that was trying to conquer the world and become like supreme ruler of the earth or whatever. And these 5 adventurers defeated the dragon god, and then they all became um, the rulers of the different nations in the world. And what happened when the original campaign is the group, uh, the dragon god was trying to re-enter the world through one of the other planes of existence, and so there was this necromancer guy that was trying to help him do that. And the original campaign, they actually merged the planes so that you can't travel between all the planes anymore. And
They
so,
separated, not merged them.
oh yeah, that's it. They separated the planes so you can't travel between them anymore. And so, like divine magic and stuff like that is only accessible if the gods exist on the plane that you guys exist on. They can't transfer their magic through it, and that's one of the reasons that the dragon god has decided that arcane magic is evil. Is he's decided that whatever produces um, the magic that arcane magic users use is evil because it is not like the same kind of magic that he uses.
Yeah.
So he thinks that all of those people are evil. But it's weird because all of these rulers used to be like super nice, and all of a sudden they've turned super evil.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and all I'm gonna reveal more of that shit as the campaign kind of goes along. One of these days, I'm gonna write a primer so that I don't have to explain all of this, and it'll actually become lore. But it's just so much work.
There we go. Okay.
So, did you guys have any issues with anything that happened, or was there things you liked, disliked?
Yeah, I dislike those paladins. They're rude.
I dislike those paladins.
Good. You're supposed to really dislike
I'm
those
glad they're
paladins. Yeah, they're definitely major villains.
I'm excited to kill shit.
Yep. Next session, you will definitely get to kill some shit if things go the way they're supposed to.
Oh. When
No,
is the next game?
My game is next Friday.
and then mine's the Friday after that.
Okay.
So pretty much every Friday.
I can do both then.
Perfect.
Forever.
So I have 2 dates for my one shots, the 2nd and the 6th.
Second and the sixth.
So I'm if you guys want to do one of those, like I would love to run it. You don't
Okay.
have to, obviously, but I'm just throwing it out there. I know Adam wanted to do one of them.
2nd and the 6th. So probably the 6th for me, the Wednesday one.
Yeah.
Just to keep
Okay.
it consistent.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, how many people do you have in each game right now?
Well, in my game, like my regular games or my
One shot.
I have 2 people that have said they want to right now.
Okay.
I I can do either or both if you want me to.
Okay. All right. I'll see how many people want to play because I was gonna post it on my page too. And
And I get to make a new character. That's always fun.
yes, and I'm still working out what level and stuff, so I'll let you guys know that. But if you want to do it, then I'll add you to my Discord.
For sure.
Um,
Absolutely. I want to play. That'd be fun.
okay. Yeah, that would be awesome. It'd be nice to have some new people in there too. I mean, I love the people I'm playing with too, but
I may resurrect my favorite character I've ever created named Mort. I don't
oh,
think you
did he
guys.
die?
No, he was in a campaign, and then the campaign kind of ended, and so he's never gotten to continue. But I
Oh,
loved that character, so I'll just use him in a different campaign.
well, there you
What
go.
level are the characters?
I don't know yet. But it's gonna be higher level,
Okay, good. Because Mort, I
like
think, is level 6.
five or above. Yeah. I just don't know how high I want to go because I've actually never played anything higher than level 4. So
Oh, really? I think the
yeah.
highest we got in our campaign was 8 or 9.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
8, and we barely went past that.
Yeah.
How do you, real quick, how do you know you have proficiency with the martial weapon?
So on your character sheet, on the bottom left, it'll say tool
Weapon.
proficiencies or
Yeah.
other proficiencies in languages, and it'll tell you what you have proficiency in.
Well, if I'm trying to level up, how do I see that?
Uh, well, what you can do is while you're leveling up, you can just click on the tab that has your abilities and stuff like that, and it might show it there.
I'm on that.
Oh, and it doesn't show it?
Oh, never mind. Hold on.
I believe you do have proficiency in martial weapons.
So, okay, let's hope I do.
Actually,
I
I
mean,
can
I'm
pull up your
assuming it
character
wouldn't
and
let
tell you.
me do it if I didn't, right?
Usually. Hold on. Where's your character?
Wow. I tried to put monk at the end of my name, and I wrote Munkle. There you go.
I
But
don't
also,
actually know how to show that.
so for okay, like say for example, like the fighting initiate, I don't exactly know what it does though. Like it just says that you can choose a fighting style, but like what does that mean?
Yeah, so you could choose like 2-weapon fighting.
Right, I know you can choose it, but like for example, I just received a great weapon,
Mhm.
right? So I want to
Yes.
be able to use it, and I'm assuming that I would need the fighting style of great weapon fighting. But what does that do? Does it just give me the ability to fight with the great weapon?
Correct. Because if you don't have great weapon fighting, you
Mm-hmm.
can't use your proficiency bonus with attack rolls or damage rolls.
Okay.
So if you're not proficient with it, I can't remember if you also get disadvantage, but I know for sure you can't use your proficiency bonus with any attack rolls. You could still use it, you'd just be at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. And it's telling me to choose meta magic. I'm so confused.
Um, yes. So meta magic is like Let me read.
Are you looking at the feat Meta Magic Adept?
No,
Oh, I don't know.
I'm looking at the feat fighting initiate.
I have no idea.
Is that like a glitch? Hold on.
Yeah, because that's a sorcerer.
Wizard.
Yeah, I know. That's
Well,
not
it's
like
wizard
what?
too. I mean, my warlock had some, but that was because I had I don't know, a special thing. But it's supposed to be
Yeah,
like wizard stuff. Yeah.
it says choose meta magic.
There's a lot of cool shit in there.
And what's the proficiency or the thing you're trying to do?
Um,
Huh.
the fighting initiate.
I'm looking at it now. I'm like, ooh. Helps you develop a particular style.
What's kind of annoying though is I'll click those things like, oh, choose meta magic, and a definition doesn't pop up next to it.
Your martial training.
Oh man, yeah.
That's
Like I
actually a
have
really
nothing.
cool thing because every time you get an ability score improvement, you can replace the feat's fighting style with another one from the fighter class you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just constantly switch it up. That's kind of cool. This is
Ooh.
the only thing that I don't like about. Oh, by the way, UA, um, when you roll for hit points, you can either take the average or the roll if it's higher than the average.
How do you know what the average is?
So if you,
I-
when you roll for hit points, if you click on average, it will tell you. But you're a monk, correct? So let me pull you
Yes.
up. And I'll tell you what your average is. So, so your average would be 4 plus your constitution. So 6 would be your average hit point increase.
Okay.
As a cleric, do I have sorcery points?
No, you have spell slots.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Not
See,
unless if you took Meta Magic Adept, which is a feat.
I don't feel like I know. I feel like the only feat I have is like Fey touched.
I mean, I guess meta magic could make you be able to use your face spells, but
Hold on, when you cast this. Hmm, this one's cool. Like if you cast a spell that's a minute or longer, you can double that time.
oh damn! So you can double the um, duration.
Yeah.
That's a cool spell or a
Oh,
cool feat.
I'm gonna do Crusher, I think.
By the way, you guys should thank Facebook because there was some post that was like, "Do you give people a bonus feat?" And everyone was like, "No, giving people bonus feat is cheating." And then I was like, "I totally want to give my characters bonus feats. That sounds awesome."
It's fun.
So okay,
Never.
here's the question though. I am naturally getting a feat this level, so does that mean
Yes,
I get another one?
if you usually it either gives you a feat or a bonus. If you get a feat, then yes, you get 2 feats.
Okay.
Oh, so we can either do 2 feats or a feat and the.
Correct.
Okay, that's dope. But
You get the feat regardless, and then you level up like normal.
Cool.
Because I just think it's fun to have cool shit that you can do. Like it makes characters unique.
Hmm.
Agreed.
Because I feel like with my rogue, like I feel like I'm boring. Like fighting with my rogue is boring because I can't do anything like cool. I mean I can, but I can't. Like
It's
and
how
it's
hard are you stabbing this turn?
exactly. And like I can hide and sneak around and stuff, which is cool for the role playing aspects of it. But in battle, I feel like I don't know. I just don't love fighting that much with my character. And it's my own fault. It's the character I picked, but it's still frustrating. I need to fix it somehow.
so with 2 weapon fighting, would you have to have 2 attacks, or is it just you do
Mm-mm.
both attacks?
So with 2 weapon fighting, you use your bonus action to attack with your offhand,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you don't have 2 weapon fighting, then you can't use any bonuses for attack rolls or damage. So like say you have a strength modifier of 4 and a proficiency bonus of 2,
Yeah.
your main hand would be a +6, but your offhand would just be a straight up attack.
Okay. And if
If
you
you
have
have
multi attack?
if you have multi attack, then you get 3 attacks because you basically attack, use your offhand, and then you attack with your main hand again.
Okay. So keeping that in mind. Um, so I am. The way my character is going to work is that I'm going to get multi attack eventually, where I can use my bonus action to make one of those attacks cantrip. So could I, in theory, attack once, attack twice, and then a third attack with my cantrip? Which
Correct.
would be crazy because the cantrip I could cast like Booming Blade, or I could cast my green flame blade version thing.
So with that situation, if you had multi-weapon fighting,
Yeah.
you couldn't attack with both weapons because you'd be using your bonus action to cast your cantrip. But if you have multi-attack in which you get 2 attacks, then yes, you could attack. Because you use the attack action.
Well, it
you
is
get to take
multi-attack, but it makes it to where you can use one of them for. Oh wait, so it wouldn't be using a bonus action.
Correct, because
Okay.
when you take the attack action, you can attack twice.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. So as long as it doesn't say it requires a bonus action, but it doesn't require a bonus action.
I'm not that level,
so you just get to
so I'm
attack
gonna
twice.
look it up real quick.
I have a question. So this
Yes.
says when you make a melee attack against a creature, you don't provoke opportunity attacks from that creature for the rest of the turn. So that means that I could move away from him
Correct.
after I hit him.
Correct.
So I could punch his ass and run.
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna do that one.
And I love that feat. It almost gives you thief abilities,
Yeah.
but you just have to attack first.
Oh shoot, I have to have my character sheet's not in the same thing here.
By the way, when I did everyone's characters, I let them have like a weapon that was special or something like that. So if you want to make your staff special and have like a cool ability to it, I can allow you to do that as well.
Like what kind of thing, so
Like-
that I don't go overboard.
With what's his name? With Caden, he has, what did I give you as your kind of cool ability?
So mine is my sword from the last campaign, the ice one. So
Yes.
it is. I believe it was. I want to say it was. There, let me look at it. Shit, I can't. I'm leveling up. It might be +1. I'm not sure, but at the very least, it does ice damage, which
Correct.
is
In
pretty
addition to
significant,
its regular damage.
which
So
is a
like
lot.
if you wanted like your staff to do wind damage or something like that, or
I would
cause
do
like
something to do with water because she's a water genasi.
yeah. So if you wanted it to do ice damage, it could
Okay.
do that. Or if you wanted it to, like you could use your staff to form like a water bubble
Ooh,
that frickin'
okay.
traps somebody inside of it or something
Yeah,
like
well, okay. I'll think of something creative.
that. Yeah, and basically all I require, if you want to do something like that, is you give me a cool story reason why it does that, and tell me what you want it to do, and we'll talk about it to make it balanced so that I feel like it's balanced.
Okay.
So come up with a super cool idea, and then we'll discuss it to kind of narrow it down into a cool feature that's still balanced.
Okay, cool.
You can't be
What
like,
does
oh,
it say?
I attack and it makes people explode.
Yeah. Aw.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, maybe later.
I'm assuming if there's like a prerequisite that it's you have to be 5th level, that we can't use it.
Correct.
I don't think I've ever seen one, but this one does apparently. So, it's lame.
I mean, if you wanted to
No,
not
no.
take your feat right now and save it for when you're 5th level, you can do that. But
Holy shit, my speed is 50.
yep, you're a
Holy
monk.
You're a
shit.
monk,
Monks
man.
are fast as shit.
I've never played a monk. That is,
Should've-
I'm loving
And then
it.
what does Step of the Wind do? I don't remember. It's something crazy too.
Step of the Wind. I
Oh, here
know
it is.
that what's her name from Critical Role had it and it was awesome.
Isn't that the one where you
You
turn
can
into a
spend one key
freaking...
point to take disengage or dash action as a
No,
bonus
so
action.
Yeah, the dash.
Yes.
Yes,
oh
you
my
can
God.
spend a key point.
Yeah, in order to run
Want to see
away.
some
Yeah.
real speed?
But I have mobile now, so I don't need to spend a key point. But I have to hit them in order to do that.
Yeah.
I have to hit a melee, which is still cool. Yeah, I have to go through and like read all these because I literally just like picked based on what I wanted to do, and I don't know what everything does.
Apparently, like people, I'm in this D&D group on Facebook, and apparently a lot of people, like when they create their character, they like fucking create everything that they're gonna do from level 1 to level 20, like
Oh,
while
hell
they're making their character, and I'm just like, I
Nope.
have never done that in my life.
No,
I figure
Ain't
it out
nobody
as I
got-
level up.
ain't nobody got time for that.
Exactly.
I sure
Time for
don't.
that.
Did you do
No.
that?
Usually I do some degree with that. Usually I'll change it part way through, but I like having that foresight of what I
You
want
have
to go
you
for.
have an idea of what you're going for, yeah.
A very specific idea that is capable of changing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I sure as hell don't have time for that then.
By the way, did you guys know that I didn't actually make those paladin characters? Like I didn't actually create their character sheets until
I
you
did.
guys were fighting it. Yeah.
I mean, I could tell,
Yeah.
but I'm
It
not
was
good at
off,
writing.
but I also got one shot, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah. I was trying to get to the point where I could do non-lethal damage to you guys, and you guys just wouldn't allow me to fucking do it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then you guys were all gonna do a bunch of shit, and then you cast magic. And I was like, oh, well, now these
I
guys
thought we
are
would be
because
safe 600 feet away.
they can fucking detect magic within a freaking like I think like within 1,000 feet. It's kind of one of their special abilities that I gave them.
Okay, I'm gonna go because I gotta go to bed. It's 2:30.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
playing.
you.
It was really fun.
Thank you. It was. Thank you so much. All right,
Uh-huh.
have a good night, guys.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye. It was
Good
nice
night.
meeting you. Bye.
What did you choose, Heather?
I didn't get like spells or anything. I just got like I could like up a couple of my stats. So I
So
just yeah.
you can also pick a feat. So if you read through the feats, you can give yourself a feat.
Okay, how do I go back and do that without leveling up
You don't
again?
you don't need to. Just go to the compendium, which is the circle with the I in it. Type the word feats, and then it'll say like feats by name. And you can click on that, and it'll give you a list of a shit ton of feats. And then like read through all the available feats. And once you find something you want, you can copy and paste the name of it into the compendium search, and it'll pull it up for you, and then you can just drag and drop it onto your character sheet.
Okay.
And what you can do, because to make it easier for you, is just find a feat you want, tell me what it is, and then I'll put it on your character sheet.
Okay.
And for a rogue, uh, actually, I don't know what feats would be good for rogue.
I think I know what I want.
What's that?
I think I want bountiful luck.
Yes, that is a
wait.
very
Well,
good one.
Okay.
Is there a prerequisite, like a gnome
I
or
think
something?
you
It
might
says
need to.
halfling.
Oh yeah, so you have to be a halfling in order
Dang.
to take those.
Luck is also a good recommendation. I
Yes,
think
you
it's just
can
called
re-roll
lucky.
ones.
I think it's better than that.
It might be. Look.
Oh wow,
Um,
bountiful luck is awesome. Jeez.
I kind of like this one for Mage Slayer. Like, when a creature within 5 feet of you casts a spell, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that creature.
Yes, that is an excellent one. Yeah, lucky is really good too. It's if you have 3 luck points. Whenever you make an attack roll on an ability check or a saving throw, you can spend 1 luck point to roll an additional d20. You can choose to spend one of your luck points after you roll the die, but before the outcome is determined. You choose which of the d20s is used for the attack roll, ability check, or saving. You can also use 1 luck point when an attack roll is made against you. Roll a d20 and then choose whether the attack uses the attacker's roll or yours. If more than one creature spends a luck point to influence the outcome of the roll, the points cancel each other out. No additional dice are rolled. And you get them back after long rest. That is an excellent skill.
So considering going for that one myself, it's amazing.
Basically, you get advantage 3 times whenever you want to. And because you can pick after it's been rolled, so like say if you roll and you roll a 20 and a 5 and a crit, you could be like, I use a luck point and take that crit. Now when I get moonbeamed, I'll only barely faint instead of getting completely obliterated.
am I a high elf?
You are a moon elf. So,
Oh dang.
but if you want to use the whatever a feat that's for a high elf, I'll let you use it.
Okay. I was thinking Fey teleportation.
Right.
So fantastic.
Tell.
Okay, cool.
Learn to speak, read, and write Sylvan. Learn the Misty Step spell and can cast it once without expending a spell slot. You gain the ability to cast it this way when you finish a short or long rest. Yeah, that's a cool one. Basically, you get Misty Step for free.
I was thinking because I saw that there's what was it, Fey teleportation or whatever. Like if we end up playing this till like we're super high levels, and maybe after I figure out this device that I have,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that could be like a nuts, since she's kind of Fey touched,
Absolutely,
another
I.
thing.
That's something that I feel like I will give you a quest with this device you have, and once you complete that quest, I'll give you that feat.
So she could teleport freely between the Feywild.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely. I can. I'd be willing to do that for you.
cool.
In fact, that would
She's
be cool because then you could use that to kind of find your people.
yeah, pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think
Because
that's an excellent idea.
like I have an idea that like using the device in the Feywild is easier than doing it in like this other realm, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And then maybe that's why she's having so much trouble with uh navigation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she
I
doesn't
like
want
that.
to be in the Feywild because, they're after her.
She fucking hates that place.
Yeah. But like it would be easy for her if she could eventually teleport to the Feywild and use the device more accurate, maybe, and she
hmm
wouldn't have to waste time finding a portal or somebody to guide her through or something.
Yeah, for sure. It's like an instant fucking. You could just be standing right where you are right now and
Yeah.
teleport to the same spot in the Fey realm.
Mm.
By the way, it's so funny how Dungeons and Dragons works because when I initially sent you guys on this quest, it was gonna be just kind of like a quick fucking transport mission, and then I got all kinds of cool ideas
Yeah.
based off of the shit that I built, and I was like, oh man, let's turn this into a whole fucking arc. This is freaking cool.
Yeah. It's been quite interesting.
And the part that I love is I'm sending you guys once you guys, depending on what you guys do with this situation, when you guys get to your destination, I have other choices for you guys to fucking make. It's gonna be cool to see what you guys decide.
Hmm.
However, knowing your characters, I already think I know what you're gonna decide. I'm gonna give you all these cool options, and you're gonna be like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome. We're gonna go back to the tower."
Depending on how this went, I was gonna tell the others we probably shouldn't go back to the tower.
Well, I mean, yeah.
We'd
You guys,
have to take off the uniforms, wouldn't we?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like the easy part.
I mean, you guys don't ever have to go back.
Exactly. We're derailing campaign. Let's go.
It's just there will be consequences to that decision, but do what you want.
Two.
Did you guys feel like I railroaded you at all in this session?
No,
No.
actually.
Okay, good. I really wanted to. Not gonna lie. I had to fight my DM instinct to be like, okay, fuckers, you're not doing what I want, so I'm just gonna fucking make this guy super powerful and fucking knock you guys all unconscious. And I was like, no, you can't do that.
One of these days.
Because like several times when you were running away, I was gonna be like, I'm just gonna give him this ability where he just fucking paralyzes everyone. And I was like, no, that's cheap. Do you ever do that, Adam? Where we're doing stuff you don't want us to do, and you're like, what if I just freaking force them to do what I want?
But how? I don't know. I think because mine are really loose in general.
Yeah, I don't think you ever have like a set thing. Like I wanted you guys to go to the town, and I couldn't find a way to force you to.
To the
'Cause
town,
then
Winthrop?
No, there's a whole other town.
Oh.
The one
Wait.
that
Yeah.
UA was that? Yes.
UA.
Yeah. I have a whole thing going on in that town that I want you guys to explore, but
I see why you were turning that horse around.
yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I would have had to been in your shoes, honestly. But I probably would have done something to try to urge them that direction. But yeah, there's only so much you could do.
If I could have just knocked you out, Caden, if I could have hit you, because if he hit you, then I had like all these things that I was gonna do to
Mhm.
like, because then I could like take you hostage and everyone
Yeah.
would give up because then I don't kill you. But I couldn't fucking hit you.
Yeah, he's a hard to hit boy. Like even
Yeah.
then, if you got past my minions, my whatever they're called, mirror images, I still had
Uh huh.
shield and absorb elements just in case.
And
I didn't
then
really use my first level spells, so I had a bunch.
I wanted them to have counterspell,
Oh, that would have helped them a lot.
but it's a fucking arcane spell,
Yeah.
and so it wouldn't have made any sense.
Could have just flavored it wholly.
I mean, they do have a thing, but I don't know. I didn't want to make it cheap.
I thought you had given them, I think it's called Mage Slayer or something, where if someone uses a spell within a distance, they could like react or something.
I didn't
Oh,
actually
that'd be a
think
good
about
idea.
that, but that is an excellent fucking thing. I'm
Next
gonna look
time.
that up right now.
They just leveled up.
Since I had cast a spell, and I was like, oh, they must have something to react quickly to that. Mage Slayer.
Oh yeah, that would have been. I should have given him that.
I'm sorry, Adam.
No, that's alright.
This has just got worse for us.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't have done anything in this fight because all it does is when you cast a spell, they can use their reaction to make a attack roll against you.
Oh.
And he never cast a spell within 5 feet of me. Because mirror image he used on the way over to me, not right next to me.
I'm assuming, Michael, that we picked very different spells.
Probably.
Okay. I picked Blur and Shadow Blade.
Which makes sense, since you're gonna be, getting stabbed in the face.
Also, I want to completely reflavor Shadow Blade somehow. Because one, I'm playing Anton, who's going to be using the Shadow Blade as intended, but I kind of want to figure out something different for this and how it works differently a little bit. So with Shadow Blade, you get advantage if I'm in dim light or dark light or something like that. But I don't want it to be a Shadow Blade, but more like an Arcane Blade. But would it still make sense for it to have that ability?
Yes.
So I was trying to think of maybe something else that would be almost equivalent and situational in the same way, but I can't fathom.
You could think about it, but if you want to just use just flavor it differently, you can do that as well.
All right. I'll think about it.
By the way, Ayla, just I don't metagame this later, but you do realize that you're a cleric.
I'm still recording.